Chapter 642. Yi Jingqing felt as uncomfortable as Mu Tongxue had predicted. No, it was 1,000 times more uncomfortable. He wanted to catch Mu Tongxue and interrogate her. Had she ever been intimate with that old man? Had she ever been kissed by that disgusting old man? Had she ever been kissed by that disgusting old man? However, he did not have the guts to do so. He had just sent Mu Tongxue's favorite teacher, Teacher Lu, to the village as a volunteer teacher. If he caused trouble for Mu Tongxue because of that, he would only be pushing her further away. It was not easy for him to bring her back to his side. So, even if he was drinking alone, he would not disturb Mu Tongxue. He could not even let Mu Tongxue know that he suspected her because of this. When Mama Yi came out of the bedroom, she saw Yi Jingqing drunk. She walked up to him and sneered. "What? Are you unhappy? Didn't you insist on keeping her? Since you are so happy that you can even abandon your parents, why are you drinking alone now?" "Mother, ignore me. The Mu family is a scourge. Mu Qiqi is one and Mu Tongxue is another. These two sisters are born to poison other families. Mother, no matter what happens between me and Mu Tongxue, she is the woman I love the most in my life. Whether you like her or hate her, you must accept her." Yi Jingqing put down the bottle and staggered up from the sofa. "If only you still believe in that little slut. Your father and I will not accept her. Don't even think about it." Having said that, Mama Yi turned around and went back to her room. She would like to see when her unfilial son would come to his senses, and whether he would wait for Mu Tongxue to tear the family apart. Mu Tongxue was standing at the corner of the second floor. She heard the conversation between the mother and son, and knew that a gap had appeared between them. Although Mama Yi had dragged her out of the slums, it was not because of Mama Ye's mercy. Mama Yi was just afraid that she would enter the Yi family. She had never thought of becoming the daughter-in-law of the Yi family. But Yi Jingqing, yet he threatened her by hurting Mr. Lu. If he got drunk today, wouldn't he have to slit his wrists and commit suicide in the future? The next morning, Yi Jingqing woke up on the sofa and saw Mu Tongxue looking at him helplessly. "Don't you cherish yourself that much? Tongxue, I've made breakfast for you. Remember to eat it. I'm going back to my room." Having said that, Mu Tongxue got up and went back to her room. However, her politeness made Yi Jingqing very happy. As he ate the breakfast Mu Tongxue made, the haze in his heart was immediately swept away. The hospital was much quieter because of the spring festival. With the approval of the doctor, Grandpa Sheng could be discharged and go home to recuperate. This made the old man so happy that he was all smiles when he saw Mu Qiqi. "I won't come to this hospital anymore." After going through the gates of hell once, the old man could be said to have been reborn. He exuded an easygoing aura from head to toe. Therefore, Mu Qiqi stopped targeting him and helped him pack his luggage with Hu Ran. "After you go back, have a good rest. You don't have to worry about Huang Yao. Just save it." Grandpa Sheng looked at Mu Qiqi and thought of Grandpa Shin, who had been meditating for a long time. Since he survived the disaster, of course he had to go and apologize to him. "I'll visit Grandpa Shin when I'm free. He's doing very well." Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes. Hu Ran saw the interaction between Mu Qiqi and Grandpa Sheng. It was awkward but interesting. She couldn't help but feel a little envious. "No matter what kind of conflict you and Grandpa had in the past, you really like each other now. Grandpa doesn't like you?" Mu Qiqi asked Hu Ran about the crux of the matter. Hu Ran shook her head. "No. I just feel that there's something missing between me and the Sheng family. I can't get along with them, especially with third brother, right? Just what are you guys thinking? Until now you still don't have that thing? Our relationship is not like yours and eighth brothers. You two have experienced many things. But Bowen and I are just ordinary," Hu Ran said disappointedly. "Perhaps it's really uncomfortable to be tied to each other." Did Sheng Bowen know that Hu Ran was thinking like this? "Third sister-in-law, actually I've been a matchmaker for many times. Why don't I help you find the problem?" Mu Qiqi winked at Hu Ran as she walked out of the hospital. "No, I don't think Bowen will like it. I'll share the private things between husband and wife." Mu Qiqi thought of Sheng Bowen's face and couldn't help but laugh. Grandpa Sheng was at a loss as he looked at her. She sent them to the door of Sheng Mansion. She said that she never wanted to step into this house again in this life. "Old man, you take care of yourself. I've been here, so Xiao Xiao has been here." Grandpa Sheng didn't force her. After all, not many people could guess what Mu Qiqi was thinking. On the other hand, he had already seen the problem between Hu Ran and third brother. So, before they went home, Grandpa Sheng said to Hu Ran, "Do you still not like third brother?" Hu Ran was stunned. "I know that the two of you treat each other with respect on the surface. But in fact, you don't have the kind of feelings between husband and wife. Compared to Mu Chichi and eighth brother, it's even more obvious. So, I was the one who messed up the matchmaking. Xiaoran, you're a good girl. If you really don't want to spend the rest of your life with third brother, you can divorce him. I won't stop you this time. This time, Hu Ran's whole body stiffened. Don't be in a hurry to tell me the answer. Think about it carefully. Then the old man limped back to his house with his walking stick. Hu Ran stood rooted to the ground. For a moment, she was extremely flustered, especially when Xing Bowen looked at her. What's wrong with you? I'm fine. Hu Ran avoided Xing Bowen's gaze. Xing Bowen's expression suddenly changed. But he didn't force Hu Ran. After they returned to their room, he said to Hu Ran, "Did Grandpa say something to you?" "Third brother, I want a divorce." Hu Ran plucked up her courage and said to Xing Bowen, "I've made up my mind to be with you for the rest of my life. But I still feel that we're more like family than love." "Is that so?" Xing Bowen's smile was uglier than crying. "Since you've decided, then let's divorce. Find a time to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. There's no need to announce it. Let's break up peacefully." He didn't even bother to struggle. Chapter 643. She desperately wanted to change the situation between her and Xing Bowen, but he was really a blockhead. He would give up just like that. In fact, when he walked out of the bedroom, Xing Bowen's expression immediately changed. When he heard Hu Ran talk about divorce, he felt as if his soul had been stripped from his body. He even thought that he was hallucinating. Divorce? So be it. Anyway, as long as Hu Ran was happy. After Tang Yixiao's case was solved, the police station immediately relaxed. However, on this free morning, Tang Yen was called into the office by the chief. No one knew what he said, but when Tang Yen came out of the office, he gave Feng Shanshan a meaningful look. Feng Shanshan felt that something was wrong, so she followed behind Tang Yen and asked him, "What did the chief say to you?" "I'm going out for a few days tomorrow. Be careful at home." "Is it the same mission as last time?" Feng Shanshan asked him. "Do you know that the wound on your left shoulder has just grown new flesh? Are you so impatient to throw your life away? That's my job. Whether you accept it or not, it's the same." After saying that, Tang Yen opened the door of the off-road vehicle and got in. Feng Shanshan did not stop him. Why should she? She knew that he was born to be heartless. What else could she do? However, when Mu Chichi arrived at the police station, she saw a bitter expression on her face. "Did you take the wrong medicine?" "I'm just thinking about what kind of bad luck I have. My predecessor is a scumbag and this one is a bastard." "Did Captain Tang offend you?" Mu Chichi could not help but laugh. "Isn't it normal for him to offend you? After all, he's such an iron-blooded man. He's passionate about investigating cases. I think this is something that's branded in his bones. I'm afraid he can't change it in this life. Didn't you like his body before? You can't blame him for this." Feng Shanshan leaned against the glass and thought hard. She felt that there would be no result. "Forget it. Let's do the experiment. Being busy makes me forget my worries." The two of them entered the laboratory together. It was rare for the professor to return from abroad. However, on the first day of work, the professor was already at loggerheads with the new forensic doctor. "I just want you to help me do a simple experiment. Don't you know how to do it? Who recommended you to come here?" "Professor, I will try my best to learn from you." The professor propped himself up on the dissection table and adjusted his glasses. "You're an official forensic doctor. How come you're not even as good as a freshman?" The new forensic doctor looked at the professor timidly, not saying a word. "Forget it, you can leave." The professor did not make things difficult for the new forensic doctor and sent him away. He thought that his ability was as weak as his character. However, they did not know that Tang Yen was sent on a dangerous mission because of this new forensic doctor. In terms of his background, no one in the Jianchuan branch could compare to him, except for the one in Mu Chichi's family. Tang Yen knew why he was chosen. When he came back from outside, he bumped into the new forensic doctor who was gloomy at the door. He jumped off the off-road vehicle and said to the new forensic doctor, "You can't use power like this, even if you hate me very much." "Captain Tang, what are you talking about? Why don't I understand?" The other party was pretending to be weak. "Regardless of whether you understand or not, you better remember that in this life, no one can spoil you unconditionally." After saying this, Tang Yen returned to the police station. "Regardless of whether others spoil me or not, you have to go to the front line and die." The new forensic doctor was very dissatisfied with the people in the criminal investigation team, especially Tang Yen and Mu Chichi. Tang Yen was at most the captain of the criminal investigation team. What was there to be arrogant about? Not to mention Mu Chichi and Chen Yinghong. They were just two intern assistants, yet they were so arrogant in front of him, a real forensic doctor. So what if he wanted to use his power like this? In the afternoon, Tang Yen arranged the work in the police station and planned to drive home to pack his luggage. Even before he left, he did not have the chance to say anything to Feng Shanshan to tell her not to worry. Feng Shanshan was not unreasonable. It was fine if he did not say anything, but she knew this man. However, the moment Tang Yen left, the two of them heard the new forensic doctor hiding in the lounge and talking to his uncle on the phone. "Uncle, thank you for teaching Captain Tang a lesson for me. I'll be obedient, I promise." When Feng Shanshan heard this, she almost exploded. She pushed open the door of the lounge, walked up to the forensic doctor and slapped him in the face. "Are you still human? You're a beast." Mu Qiqi quickly hugged Feng Shanshan, afraid that she would cause trouble. "Calm down. Calm down. Calm down, my A*S. Do you know that Tang Yen was shot in the shoulder when he came back from the front line? It wasn't easy for him to grow new flesh on his left shoulder. The fever was also because of the previous gunshot wound. This bastard actually used his background to send him to the front line again?" Feng Shanshan felt that she was about to go crazy. "How can you bear to treat someone who works so crazily to get rid of evil for the people? You can't save this matter even if you lose your temper. Why don't you let me do it?" Mu Qiqi pressed down on Feng Shanshan's agitated body. "He wants to compete with his background. Can you fight him?" Feng Shanshan immediately became obedient and stood to the side. Mu Qiqi sighed and looked at the new forensic doctor. "I knew that you don't have the ability. You're just here to be gilded. Soon you'll be transferred out of here and go to another place. So, you can totally play with your colleagues in the bureau like this, including Captain Tang. It's just that we can completely abide by the rules of the game you set. However, there's one thing you have to be clear about. My second uncle is the mayor of Jianchuan. My husband has close ties with the military. Since you want to play, let's play. Isn't it just using my background? Who wouldn't? Why didn't the other party do anything to Mu Qiqi? It was because of Mu Qiqi's background. Mu Qiqi, I'm not bothering you when I'm looking for trouble with Captain Tang, right? Could it be that Captain Tang is your lover? Is that why you're so anxious?" When Feng Shanshan heard this, she kicked him again. "If you have the guts, say it again. Otherwise, why would Mu Qiqi be so concerned about Captain Tang?" Mu Qiqi didn't want to say anything more to the forensic doctor. She just took out her phone and called Xing Xiao. "Xiao Xiao, are you free? Speak." Who didn't know that Mu Qiqi's matter was comparable to hundreds of billions? "Help me investigate something." Mu Qiqi sent the forensic doctor's name over. "Find out what kind of impressive background this person has. I'll call you later." After Xing Xiao said that, he put down his phone and handed the name to Su Che. "Find out this person's 18 generations of ancestors." "Okay, CO." Su Che nodded. Chapter 644. Mu Qiqi hung up the phone and raised her eyebrows at the new forensic doctor. The new forensic doctor was called Dai Shi. Dai Shi looked at Mu Qiqi too. Neither of them was willing to give in. "We're all people who rely on our backgrounds. What's the difference between us? You're so great, but you only know how to look for Xing Xiao. If you're so capable, you should solve this problem yourself. If you want to solve it, you have to know who's behind you. I'm sure you know that my husband doesn't play by the rules. If he finds something he shouldn't, I'm really sorry." After that, Mu Qiqi dragged Feng Shanshan away. Feng Shanshan stared at Dai Shi. "If anything happens to him, don't even think about leaving here alive." The other party looked at Mu Qiqi and Wan Chanshan indifferently as if he was not afraid of death. He wanted to see how they could turn the tide now that Tang Yen had gone to the front line. "What should we do?" Feng Shanshan looked at Mu Qiqi in a daze. "Even if CEO Xing finds out about that bitch's background, there's nothing we can do." Mu Qiqi smiled and patted Feng Shanshan's shoulder. "You're worried about yourself. Captain Tang has been through so many dangerous missions. Do you think he's in a desperate situation? On the contrary, if you ask him to come back now, he'll be very unwilling. Trust me, he'll do better than you can imagine." "Really?" Feng Shanshan and Wan Fei looked at Mu Qiqi suspiciously. "Even if my husband finds out about that bitch's background, do you think you can pull him back? Based on his character, think about it carefully." Feng Shanshan took a deep breath. Although she did not want to admit Mu Qiqi's words, she was right. Tang Yen was a rigid person. If you ask him to come back now, he might not be willing. According to him, no matter how dangerous the mission was, someone had to carry it out. This person never treated his life as a life. "As for that bitch, don't worry. We'll find a chance to teach her a lesson." Feng Shanshan had no choice. There was only one thing she could do now, and that was to wait. An hour later, Su Che found the information. This person's uncle worked in the headquarters and his position was not low. It was no wonder that Dai Li was so arrogant. From Su Che's information, he appeared to be a dedicated person who had nothing to hold against him. That was also why Dai Li was not afraid of Mu Qiqi coming to Xingxiao. Still, if he was really a just person, he would not have helped his nephew by abusing his authority. That was why that was the biggest breakthrough for Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi. It's really watertight. However, as long as it's something that's on someone's mind, there must be some clues. In the few days that Captain Tang has been away, I think we can look for it. Feng Shanshan was just disgusted. Those who had power did not make good use of their advantages but arranged for others to die. Do you have a plan? Well? Mu Qiqi put her arm around her neck and pulled her closer to her. That uncle of his is a troublemaker. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter even if it's watertight. Don't forget that the existence of his nephew is the biggest evidence. Where did he study forensic science? What's his grades like? How did he get into the criminal investigation team without any real skills? Isn't that something worth paying attention to? Anyway, we're just small assistants. We have nothing to do in the station these few days. We might as well go out and ask around. What do you think? Sure. Feng Shanshan nodded. We won't rely on anyone this time. We'll rely on ourselves so that others won't lower our standards. Mu Qiqi snorted unhappily. Then let's do it. After that, Mu Qiqi looked at Dai Li's resume in the station. He actually graduated from a famous school and got excellent grades in every subject? With his level, he could not even get a passing grade. We can't alert his tutor about this. He might be on the same side as him. Let's ask his classmates. Mu Qiqi was very alert. Although she knew that his grades might have been tampered with and the traces had been erased, she felt that as long as she put in the effort, she would definitely be able to find some clues. It's best if we can get some evidence. In fact, it would be a piece of cake for Xingxiao to handle this matter. But just like what the forensic doctor said, she could not do it without Xingxiao. She would not force him to do other things. But for this matter, it was more than enough for her. In the evening, at Xing Mansion, Hu Ran stayed in her room and thought for the whole day. In the end, she told Grandpa Xing her thoughts. Grandpa, I might really not be suitable for third brother, because he is like family to me. But I don't have that kind of feeling for him. So, I might not be able to go on. When Grandpa Xing heard that, he felt helpless but understood. I've long seen it. People who really love each other can't be separated no matter what. Let's take eighth brother and Xingxiao as an example. Look at them. Who can separate them? As long as you have made up your mind and discussed it, I have no opinion. I just hope that you can find your true happiness in the future. Hu Ran sat in the living room and thought for a long time until Xing Bowen came back. It's so cold. Why don't you go back to your room? I'm waiting for you. Let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow morning. Hu Ran said seriously. Third brother, you're very good. Really good. But you can probably feel the problem between us. We don't have the spark of love. It's even worse than when I played dumb. I've been thinking about it for the whole day. So, I still plan to end this relationship. Xing Bowen did not tell the Xing family about the current problems of Huang Yao. He just nodded. As long as you don't regret it. If we're really fated, I'd rather try and start over with you. Xing Bowen did not understand what she meant. Rest early. I'll wait for you at the door tomorrow morning. After saying that, Xing Bowen turned around and went to Xing Kai's room. Since they were going to divorce, it was not appropriate for them to stay in the same room. Hu Ran sighed and got up from the living room. No matter what, their cooperation during this period of time was quite pleasant. However, Xing Bowen sat in Xing Kai's room and was in a daze for a long time. He really could not tell if this kind of sadness was heartache. After nightfall, Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan were still chatting with the ex-girlfriend of medical examiner Dai. It was not easy to get this news. When the two of them broke up, they were very unhappy. However, because she was worried about the other party's background, the girl was unwilling to say more after she understood why Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan were here. Chapter 645. After Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan heard this, they looked at each other. This girl obviously knew more inside information. Of course, they also knew that they had to worry about the girl's safety. We understand your position. It's okay. Just give us a hint, even if it's just a little. The girl felt that Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan were too difficult to deal with, so she sighed at them. Alright, I'll give you this. It might be useful to you. After saying that, the girl entered the room. After a while, she took out a USB and handed it to them. There's a screenshot of that bastard's results. I helped him check his results when he failed 4 subjects. The screenshot is the chat history I exported. But you have to keep it a secret from everyone, especially that bastard and his uncle. Can you not let them know that I provided this thing? Of course. Don't worry. The 2 of them were overjoyed when they got the evidence. But it was clearly not enough. That's it for today. Tomorrow we'll go to that bastard school and see if there's anything else. Mu Qiqi handed the small object to Feng Shanshan. Take it. Hug it to sleep. I know you'll feel at ease this way. You go back first. I'll go and look for the others. Feng Shanshan put the thing in her bag. At this moment, it was as if she was infected by Tang Yan's unwillingness to admit defeat. He had to do something about it. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she smiled. You still say that you don't talk about feelings. But in fact, without knowing it, you've been very affectionate. If it's President Sheng who gets hurt, I believe you'll be the same as me, Feng Shanshan explained. Feng Shanshan explained, I learned this from you. Don't we have to work hard to protect our own things? In that case, I'll risk my life to accompany you. Do you think I can let you be alone? Having said that, Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan planned to go to another place. However, just below the residential area, Sheng Zhao's car was already parked at the entrance. Under the dim light, a peerless man in a brown coat stood by the roadside. Anyone who passed by would want to take a few more glances at him. Sheng Zhao folded his arms and looked at Mu Qiqi. His eyes were like stars. You don't know how to go home if I don't invite you? Mu Qiqi walked up to Sheng Zhao and grabbed his sleeve. It's not easy to get something. Feng Shanshan still wants to continue. So, we might have to visit a few families tonight. For another man? Sheng Zhao raised a brow. I did it for her. She did it for her man. Mu Qiqi pointed at Feng Shanshan cleverly. Sheng Zhao did not say anything. After 2 seconds of silence he said, Get in the car. Tell me our next destination. You're going too? When we arrive, I'll wait for you downstairs, said Sheng Zhao. Anyway, there are still some documents that we haven't read. It doesn't matter where we read them. Mu Qiqi kissed him on the cheek. I'll give you a reward when we get home tonight. It was Feng Shanshan's first time sitting in Sheng Zhao's car. She thought that he was the boss of Jianchuan. However, the situation was urgent and she could not be picky. So, she opened the door of the front passenger seat and saw the baby-faced Su Che. You can clearly look for me. Why do you have to go through so much trouble? Sheng Zhao sat in the car and asked Mu Qiqi. However, Feng Shanshan felt that it was not that he did not understand Mu Qiqi. Perhaps he simply thought that it was a small matter. No, what Sheng Zhao really meant was, why did she have to go through so much trouble for someone else's man? Perhaps, only Mu Qiqi could understand the meaning behind Sheng Zhao's words. So, she said to Sheng Zhao, how can you make her wait anxiously for something like this? If it were you, I would definitely be worried if someone asked me to wait and try. I would definitely be worried. I would have to do it myself to be at ease. Because of Feng Shanshan's existence, Sheng Zhao rubbed Mu Qiqi's head. Alright, he was satisfied with this answer. After Feng Shanshan heard it, she felt that the 2 of them had indeed reached a telepathic level. Perhaps only they could understand each other's language. Soon they arrived at the door of another classmate of Dai Fengji's. However, although the house in front of them was a villa, it looked extremely desolate. Feng Shanshan got out of the car and was about to ring the doorbell when she was stopped by the family's neighbor. Little girl, are you looking for this family for something urgent? It's urgent? I advise you not to go. In this family, other than a normal son, the father is paralyzed and the mother is mentally unstable. If you go in, you might get hurt. Thank you, Auntie, but I really have something urgent. Feng Shanshan did not intend to back down. When it came to Tang Yan's matters, other than talking about feelings, she had never backed down. Alright then. I've already advised you but you didn't listen, the neighbor sighed and left. Feng Shanshan pressed the doorbell firmly. The person who opened the door was the person they were looking for. This person had a grudge with Dai Fengji in the past. Who are you looking for? The other party asked Feng Shanshan coldly. I'm looking for you. I want to know something about Dai Shi's past. I don't know if it's convenient for you. The other party glanced at Feng Shanshan and only said 2 words, I'm not free. After saying that, he turned around and left. However, after taking 2 steps, he turned back. What do you want to know? His academic performance? Does he have any results? The man snorted. He doesn't attend major or minor classes and he's scared of blood. How can he be a forensic doctor? He's scared of blood. Feng Shanshan recalled how uncomfortable Dai Shi looked when he dissected Tang Yixiao's body. She thought that it was because the body was badly mutilated. She did not expect that it was because he was scared of blood. But what does it matter? He has an uncle anyway. He can go to any department he wants. In fact, just knowing that Daishi was scared of blood was enough to bring down that bastard. Why would he choose to be a forensic doctor when he was scared of blood? Was he sick in the head? In fact, most normal people would have some symptoms like this. However, after 5 years of study they were already immune to all kinds of poisons, but Daishi was still scared of blood? Did he think that he was still a freshman? Can you tell me more about Daishi? Many of Daishi's exams were taken by a person called Qin Yang. You can go and look for him. Having said that, the man turned around and went back to his house. He closed the door tightly as if there were 2 lions locked in the house. I've gained quite a lot. Mu Chichi looked at Feng Shanshan and said, of course, the more evidence, the better. That B*TCH definitely wouldn't have thought that we would start with him. Chapter 646. Feng Shanshan did not move after hearing that. She quietly searched for Qin Yang's name on the list. However, because Qin Yang was not on Daishi's list of enemies, his name would not be on it. However, seeing that Feng Shanshan did not give up, Mu Chichi crossed her arms and asked, don't tell me you still want to look for Qin Yang? We don't even know who Qin Yang is and we don't have any information about him. Where are you going to look for him? You and CEO Xing go home. I still want to take a look. Seeing that Feng Shanshan was about to move, Mu Chichi quickly stopped her. Do you still want to live? It's already the middle of the night and you are still wandering outside. Do you have to do this for Captain Tang? Qin Yang will not run away. I know very well whether I have to do this or not. Chichi, he is working so hard outside because of that bitch. If I don't find the evidence soon, I won't be able to live with myself. Mu Chichi was helpless. She took a deep breath and turned to look at the man in the car. Although Xing Xiao was reading the documents, he also noticed the content of their argument. So he only squeezed out 2 words from his mouth. Get in the car. Although this little thing told Feng Shanshan not to continue, he knew that if it were not for him, the 2 of them would have rushed out long ago. Get in the car. Mu Chichi pretended to look at Feng Shanshan. After making a few calls, Su Che confirmed Qin Yang's identity. Although he used to take the exam for Shi after he graduated, he started a business and had some achievements. Soon they arrived at Qin Yang's shop. As usual, Mu Chichi and Feng Shanshan went in while Xing Xiao waited in the car. Now this man was the owner of a bar called Night Wind. Seeing that it was such a place, Xing Xiao looked at the documents and said to Su Che, go out and protect him. Yes. Su Che immediately got into position. Mu Chichi and Feng Shanshan asked the bartender about the VIP room where Qin Yang was. However, it was a mess inside. Several couples were singing and drinking. They were having a great time. Boss, these 2 ladies are looking for you, the bartender told Qin Yang. Qin Yang was sitting among the crowd. When he saw Mu Chichi and Feng Shanshan, he waved at them. It's my honor to have 2 beautiful ladies looking for me. Why don't you sing a song first? We're looking for you because of Dai Shi, Feng Shanshan said directly to Qin Yang. No matter who you're here for and what you're here for, you have to drink first. That's the rule here. Qin Yang pointed at the wine bottle on the table and said to Feng Shanshan, otherwise, why would I tell you? This person didn't look decent at all, and his body was filled with the temperament of a hooligan. He was wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. He seemed to have drunk too much and did not look carefully at who was behind Feng Shanshan. Will you tell me if I drink this bottle on the table? Of course. I'm a man of my word. The men and women around him laughed when they heard that. Feng Shanshan was also someone who had been in the nightclub. So, a bottle of wine was not a problem for her. So she picked up the bottle and drank it. But after drinking, Qin Yang laughed happily and encouraged Feng Shanshan to drink again. You're a heroine. Drink again. After drinking this bottle, I'll definitely tell you. Don't believe him. He's going to blow you up. Mu Chichi stopped Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan did not move. Feng Shanshan, he's obviously not thinking clearly now. Can't you wait until tomorrow when he's sober and come again? Must it be now? Since you're here, don't think about leaving tonight. Qin Yang gestured to the bartender to close the door. It was not easy for 2 cute girls to come. How could he let go of such a good opportunity? Are you sure? You want to lock us up? Mu Chichi crossed her arms and looked at Qin Yang. Do you know what we do? This girl looks a little like that Mu Chichi, the one who always appears in the newspapers. The one who always appears in the newspapers. One of them recognized Mu Chichi but was not sure. What about Qin Yang? He laughed out loud. Who is Mu Chichi? I don't know her. I only know that people with status would never come to a place like this. If you two really want to ask me about Dai Shi, you have to pay the price, right? I don't like money. I just have a little hobby. Having said that, Qin Yang stood up and walked to Feng Shanshan. He wanted to reach out and touch her cheek. But at that moment, the door of the VIP room was suddenly opened. No one could see who it was. All they saw was Qin Yang's body flying to the wall. Everyone looked over and saw Su Che. Who are you? Do you want to die? Su Che took out a name card from his pocket and threw it to the group of people. Then he said, if you know what's good for you, get lost. Someone picked up Su Che's name card. When he saw it, his face changed and he quickly got up. He's from Zhongting. He's the assistant of Zhongting CO. Soon only Qin Yang, Su Che and Feng Shanshan were left in the VIP room. Meanwhile, Xing Xiao slowly entered the VIP room. So, Qin Yang could not help but believe him. They're just two little girls. They just want to ask you a little question. Don't you think you're taking care of them too much? Qin Yang knelt on the ground, not daring to look into Xing Xiao's eyes. He could only stare at Xing Xiao's leather shoes. I didn't bring my brain with me. I didn't recognize you. I'm sorry, CEO Xing. If I knew it was your wife, I wouldn't have dared to do anything stupid. So, can you tell me now? Xing Xiao said impatiently. Yes. Qin Yang wiped the sweat off his forehead and explained, that Dai Shi has a powerful uncle. Back then he saw that I looked like Dai Shi, so he forced me to replace him for the exams. At that time, my grades were still passable, but because I had to take the exams for Dai Shi, I always missed the exams. In the end, I didn't even get my university diploma. If it wasn't for the savings at home, I'm afraid my life would have been ruined in Dai Shi's hands. Do you have any evidence? Feng Shanshan asked. Yes. I was afraid of taking responsibility, so I kept an eye on him. Because Dai Shi's uncle always came to me, I installed a camera in front of my house. Give it to me. Feng Shanshan said coldly. I'm a victim too. I was forced by Dai Shi's uncle. If you can guarantee that I won't be implicated, I'll give it to you immediately. The one who's going to be unlucky is someone else. Xing Xiao only said these words, but it was also a promise to Qin Yang. Chapter 647. Is there any other evidence? I remember I took the exam for him once. Dai Shi was not in the country at that time. He went abroad to have fun. You can check the exact time. It should be when he was in his second year, Qin Yang recalled. Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi looked at each other. It was about time. With the screenshot of Dai Shi's ex-girlfriend and Qin Yang's video, if the time Dai Shi took the exam coincided with the time he went out, the evidence was basically solid. CO Sheng, I've told you everything I know. Please forgive me. I didn't recognize you today. I'll kowtow and apologize to Mrs. Sheng. No need. Mu Qiqi quickly stopped him. She did not have that kind of bad taste. Next time, keep your eyes open before you go out. At least you can stay alive. What do you think? Xing Xiao hated the smell here. He frowned subconsciously. I'll listen to you, CO Sheng. Qin Yang felt that his life was saved, so he quickly bowed. Xing Xiao glanced at Mu Qiqi and got up. Can we go now? I didn't expect that you still have to do it in the end. Mu Qiqi sighed and looked at Feng Shanshan. Can you rest assured now? Thank you, Feng Shanshan said stiffly. They quickly left the bar. This time, Feng Shanshan was willing to go home. Perhaps this was finally a relief for her. Mu Qiqi watched Feng Shanshan leave and could not help but sigh. She said that she won't fall in love, but in fact she cares more than anyone else. She keeps saying that Tang Yen is a bastard, but she still fell for him and can't get out. She just doesn't want to admit that she's stupid. Xing Xiao loosened his sleeves and held Mu Qiqi's face. Do you think I shouldn't have helped you just now? Mu Qiqi was stunned. Are you still thinking about what I said just now? Yes. Mu Qiqi chuckled. We didn't use our brains just now. If you didn't save us, we would still be in trouble tonight. I know what's good for me, okay? There are some things that little girls like us can't do. I might have to rack my brain for an entire night, but that might not be as good as you coming out to meet Qin Yang. Compared to you, I really don't know how much longer I need to grow before I can stand on my own. Satisfied, Xing Xiao let go of the little one. There will come a day. I think so too. Having said that, Mu Qiqi lay down on his lap. There's going to be a good show tomorrow. I'm excited just thinking about it. Sheng Zhao's lips curled into a smile as he caressed the little one's lips. Tomorrow he would see how Feng Shanshan would use this evidence to avenge Captain Tang. Late at night, Yi clan. Mu Tongxue stayed quiet in Yi Mansion for the whole day. Except for talking to Yi Jingqing in the morning, she didn't say a word for the rest of the day. The servant of the Yi family told Yi Jingqing about the situation. Yi Jingqing quickly went to Mu Tongshue's room. Tongxue? I heard from the servants that you've been depressed the entire day. What's wrong? I'm fine, Mu Tongshu answered coldly as she sat on the bed. Yi Jingqing sat on the edge of the bed. Then he saw the fruit knife beside Mu Tongshu's pillow. What are you doing? I don't know. I just feel that my chest is tight and I can't live anymore. Seeing Mu Tongshu's half-dead state, Yi Jingqing knew that it was not a good idea to keep Mu Tongshu locked up like this. So, he quickly hugged Mu Tongshu and said, "Let's go out and relax tomorrow." Don't want to see you. Mu Qiqi, you're not my sister. I didn't kill Mom. After hearing what Mu Tongshu said, Yi Jingqing was stunned. Because he felt that Mu Tongshu seemed to be in a delirious state. Tongshu, look at me. What did you just say? Dad? I didn't kill Grandma. Yi Jingqing was completely stunned. After a while he stood up and called the family doctor. Did he really drive Mu Tongshu crazy just like that? It was impossible. Absolutely impossible. Soon the family doctor arrived at Yi Mansion. After a round of examination, Mu Tongshu finally fell asleep under the effect of the tranquilizer. Mr. Yi, she has been stimulated. There are signs of schizophrenia. I suggest that you send her to a big hospital for a checkup. Before that, don't stimulate her anymore. Yi Jingqing grabbed the doctor's collar and threatened him. Say that again. It's the truth. I can't do anything if you don't believe me. Yi Jingqing let go of the doctor's collar and said, "Get lost." Could it be that he had provoked Mu Tongshu by sending Mr. Lu away? Was Mr. Lu's influence on her that great? Yi Jingqing stayed by Mu Tongshu's bedside for half the night until she woke up. Why are you here? At that moment she seemed to have returned to normal. Yi Jingqing was overjoyed. He hugged Mu Tongshu tightly. Tongshu, you can go wherever you want tomorrow. Don't stay at home all day. When I'm done with my work, I'll go out with you. Mu Tongshu did not move and let him hug her. But her lips curled up in a place where Yi Jingqing could not see. This man's emotions were being manipulated by her just like that. Was he acting? She was at the level of a best actress. Needless to say, she wanted to fight for her freedom. She wanted to know Mr. Lu's current situation. After what happened to Tang Yan today, Mu Qiqi had not found a way to tell her about Mr. Lu's situation. It was hard to imagine if she knew that Mr. Lu was sent to the mountains to teach. Would she go crazy? Many people seemed to be suffering that night. Whether it was Feng Shanshan, Shin Bowen and his wife or Mu Tongshu, they were all trapped in their own destinies and could not get out of it. But tomorrow would be a new beginning, wouldn't it? However, in the wee hours of the morning, Feng Shanshan sent an anonymous document to a certain bureau with evidence. She even made a lot of copies of it. Because Dai she had bet Tang Yan's life with her. So, she wanted the other party to pay the price. In order to prepare the document, she spent the whole night writing more than 10,000 words. For Tang Yan she really put in a lot of effort. The man was her man. Even if Tang Yan did not have any friends or family, he still had her as his woman. So, Feng Shanshan had no scruples. The next morning, the people from the bureau received some of the documents. Of course, it was handled by Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan even sent a copy to Mu Qiqi, as if to remind her to wake up and watch the show. Today would be an exciting day. Chapter 648. Early in the morning, the people in the branch office were all gossiping. Although they knew that Dai she did not have any real talent, they did not expect that he had such a big boss behind him. He falsified his results and even found someone to take the exam for him. Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi met at the entrance of the branch office and entered together. Soon they were dragged into the gossip army. Shanshan, Qiqi, did you receive the documents about Dai Shi? It's all over the police station. This person is really shameless. I didn't expect that to be how he got his identity as a forensic doctor. What's worse is that his uncle, who has an important position, actually broke the law. I really want to see what happens to him and his uncle. The senior brothers in the bureau could no longer hold back their complaints. It's fine if it's any other job, but it has to be a forensic doctor. It's a matter of life and death. The forensic doctor provides us with the key to solving the case. If he really wants to be gilded, why didn't he find another profession? Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan looked at each other. They were secretly pleased. That kind of trash should not be allowed to continue living freely. Presumably, Dai Shi's uncle was also starting to be badly battered by now. I really don't know who wrote the anonymous letter. It's really satisfying. Well done. He removed the cancer for our team. Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi did not say anything and went straight to the forensics laboratory. However, what they did not expect was that Daishi had already arrived at the station. He was just hiding inside and did not dare to say a word. When he saw the two young ladies, he looked at them with hatred. "You, what about us?" Muchichi asked Daishi. "Did you send the anonymous letter to slander my uncle?" "Forensic Dr. Dai, please watch your words. It's not slander. It's the truth." "Of course, it doesn't matter if you think it's slander. Anyway, your uncle has to give a reasonable explanation. Do you think he'll still be able to keep his hat on?" Feng Shanshan declared solemnly. Daishi lost his imposing manner just now. He could only kneel on the ground with a thud. "I really didn't expect. You really didn't expect us to start with you and not your uncle, did you?" Muchichi leaned against the autopsy table and crossed her arms. "I think we've already warned you. You're too confident. Your uncle is indeed flawless. We can't see anything, but you're different. Your existence is the evidence. Right now, we're just helping you to recall your university life. I think it's wonderful. Don't you think so?" Daishi knelt on the ground, his cheeks sweating. "Spare me. I just want to be a forensic doctor for a year. I'm going to be transferred soon. I won't hinder you anymore. Instead of begging us, you might as well beg the person who took your uncle away. Alright, after all, it's a fake diploma. You might be taken away too." Daishi suddenly swallowed his saliva. He had never thought that these two girls would actually be so smart. He had thought that his plan was flawless, but they had managed to find the evidence. Daishi was speechless. The only thing left on his face was regret. However, at that moment, his uncle gave him a phone call. "Daishi, go. I can't escape, but I've prepared a way out for you. Go quickly." "Daishi, you should go. Uncle can't escape, but I've prepared an escape route for you. You should go quickly." "Daishi, go. I can't escape, but I've prepared a way out for you. Go quickly." Daishi wanted to say something, but the phone was in Feng Shanshan's hands. "Chief Chin, he's at the police station now. Where else do you think he can go?" "Who are you?" "The person who wrote the anonymous letter." After saying that, Feng Shanshan hung up and threw the phone back to Daishi. The phone fell to the ground. But Daishi knew that he had harmed his uncle's family. So, he didn't have the courage to pick up the phone. He was afraid of receiving a call from his aunt and cousin. "If I knew you would do this, I wouldn't have provoked you even if I died. I wouldn't have taken revenge on Captain Tang." Only now did he regret it? Unfortunately, it was too late. As for Daishi's uncle, he would never know why someone wrote him an anonymous letter. Soon, the relevant departments came to arrest Daishi. They wanted to bring Daishi back to explain the situation. Daishi couldn't resist because he was already at the police station. Even if he wanted to escape, he had no chance. More importantly, he didn't have the intelligence to do so. But even so, he couldn't be transferred back from the dangerous mission. He still had to risk his life to complete the mission. Thinking of this, Feng Shanshan's joy disappeared. If something really happened to him because of Daishi's revenge, Daishi could be arrested. But who would compensate her for the loss of a man? "Alright, I know you're still worried. But I believe in Captain Tang. He will come back safely." Perhaps it was because Daishi was not in the team, so everyone felt that there were fewer obstacles in their working environment. Plus, they could gossip about the chief, so their life in the branch office was unprecedentedly relaxed. At noon, Mu Chichi and Feng Shanshan were having lunch in the police station. But Mu Tongxue came to them again. After 2 days, she seemed to have lost some weight. But Mu Chichi knew that it was just her appearance. No one knew what kind of person she was hiding under her delicate skin. So Mu Chichi put down the knife and fork in her hand. She crossed her arms and looked at Mu Tongxue. "What do you think this place is? Do you think you can come here just because you want to? I've finally regained my freedom. Now I just want to know how Mr. Liu is doing." Mu Tongxue looked at the bodyguard sent by Yi Jingqing not far away from the door. Obviously, she was afraid of them, but she couldn't help worrying about Mr. Liu. Mu Chichi took a deep breath and looked at Mu Tongxue seriously. "Am I your Mr. Liu's bodyguard? I have to watch him all the time." "Sister, don't call me so intimately. Who knows what tricks you're playing behind my back?" Mu Chichi let go of her arms and put them on the table. Then she picked up the cutlery and continued eating. "I've said that I won't treat you like before. I won't. I just want Mr. Liu to be safe." They were two sisters. They were not alike at all, except for the fact that they were obsessed with men. Yi Jingqing sent your Mr. Liu to a remote mountainous area to teach. Although your Mr. Liu clearly expressed that he would never appear in front of you again, Yi Jingqing didn't give him a chance. "I knew it. There's no need to believe his words. Where is Mr. Liu now?" Mu Tongxue sneered. Chapter 649. Mu Tangxue lowered her head and stayed silent for 2 seconds. When she raised her head again, her eyes were red. It seemed that Yi Jingqing had really hurt her. I'm leaving. After that, Mu Tangxue stood up. But before she disappeared, Mu Qiqi grabbed her and said, I'm happy to see you fight with Yi Jingqing. But you should at least keep your life, right? Although you killed Mommy, she loved you the most when she was still alive. Don't let the Yi family inform me to collect the body. I'm telling you I won't go. Mu Tangxue did not say anything. She just quickened her pace. No matter how ruthless Mu Qiqi was, she still had some pity for her. However, Mu Tangxue did not care about anything else. She just wanted to use the most vicious method to let Yi Jingqing taste the pain. In the afternoon. It was only then that the two sworn enemies of the Sheng family had truly completed their divorce procedures, and officially dissolved their relationship as husband and wife. Third brother, I hope we can still be friends when we meet again. Hu Ran stretched out her hand, wanting to shake Sheng Bowen's hand. But Sheng Bowen forced a smile and said, Of course the chauffeur is here. I won't send you off. I still have something urgent to deal with in Huangyao. Good luck. Hu Ran knew that she had nothing to do with Sheng Bowen now. It would be hypocritical if she said that. So, when Sheng Bowen turned around, she went back to the Hu family and asked the servants to take her luggage that she had packed yesterday. There were no vows, no etiquette, no blessings, and no love in this marriage. It started too fast and it ended too fast. Third young master is a decent man. Why did you insist on getting a divorce? Papa who could not understand his daughter. Why did she give up such a good man and give him to someone else? Don't blame me for not reminding you if someone else snatches him away in the future. Hu Ran did not say anything. She went back to her room. Now that she was a divorced woman, she did not know if her impression of her husband would be affected because of this. Perhaps, no one would believe that she still kept her first time after getting married. On the other hand, Sheng Bowen went straight back to Huangyao after the divorce. That was because Sheng Kai seemed to be up to something in the past few days. He was thinking of a way to deal with the Huangyao shares in his hands. As far as he knew, the sellers that Sheng Kai was interested in were not good people. They were all ambitious wolves. Although he was prepared for that, he still felt terrible when Sheng Kai betrayed the Sheng family. He had not told Grandpa Sheng about this. After all, the old man had just been discharged from the hospital. He did not want to agitate him again and send him to the hospital again. Now the situation had changed. He was in the light while Sheng Kai and Gu Xiling were in the dark. He did not know what kind of storm these two would stir up with the support of Gu Xiling's grandfather. In fact, Hu Ran had made the right choice to leave. He really did not have Xing Zhao's confidence in stabilizing the Sheng family. He simply did not know where else he could go. And Sheng Kai was such a sinister and ruthless person. After returning to the company, the secretary quickly went up to Sheng Bowen and said, "CO, there's a guest. He brought an entire team of lawyers with him. It looks like he's here to cause trouble." "Where is he?" "He's in the VIP lounge." "I know. Come with me." Sheng Bowen looked in the direction of the VIP lounge. He was really in a bad mood today. Another big financial group wanted to take over Sheng Kai's shares. In the evening it started to rain in Jianshuan. Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi came out of the laboratory. When they were about to go home, they saw Tang Yen coming back with injuries. His face was bruised and his forehead was red and swollen. It seemed that he had suffered a lot of external injuries. Fortunately, they were just external injuries. The first thing he said when he entered the police station was to Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi. "You two don't leave yet. Come with me." The two of them looked at each other and followed him into the police station. Then all the people in the criminal investigation team were called over. "I already know about what happened to Dai Shi. The anonymous letter was written by someone in our station. Who asked you to mess around?" Tang Yen questioned everyone present. "If it happens again, my team will not tolerate such a vengeful person. You must know your place. You are different from him." Feng Shanshan did not expect that after working hard all night, she would get such an attitude. After hearing Tang Yan's words, Mu Qiqi looked at Feng Shanshan worriedly. Obviously, Feng Shanshan's eyes were red and tears were rolling down her cheeks. "You should have died on the front line." "That's all. Dismissed." After saying that, Tang Yan did not look at Feng Shanshan. Instead, he went straight to the forensics laboratory to look for the professor. Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi also left the police station together. Men are all big pig trotters. After listening to Tang Yan's retelling, the professor laughed. "So, this anonymous letter was written by these two children. It was because you were threatened. Why didn't you stop them?" "How would I know that there are so many stories behind it?" The professor shrugged helplessly. "But you were angry in the office just now. We all heard it. Didn't you go too far? How can I learn from it if I go too far? After saying that, Tang Yen left the laboratory and drove home. He knew that it would hurt Feng Shanshan's heart. But what kind of identity was Dai Shi's uncle? He was the director of the bureau. Did he think that an anonymous letter could bring him down? Even if they had such a great influence, these people's backgrounds were often complicated and restrained each other. If someone found out that it was Feng Shanshan who did it, would the people on Chief Chen's ship let her go? Mu Qiqi did not care because she had Xing Xiao. But what did she have? She was so fearless. She did not know how much trouble she had gotten into. What if her enemies came to take revenge? Thinking of this, Tang Yen sped up and went home. But when he entered the living room, he did not see Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan took the blanket out and hinted to Tang Yen that he would sleep in the living room while she locked herself in the room. Lying on the bed, she felt very wronged. Men were rational and women were emotional. This sentence was not wrong to use on the two of them. Of course, Tang Yen was not good at explaining. Whether Feng Shanshan could understand his painstaking efforts or not, he would still do his best to protect her. For example, it was raining tonight. It was really a good weather for revenge. Chapter 650. Not long after nightfall in Yi Mansion. The bodyguard had told Yi Jingqing about Mu Tongshue's schedule, including her visit to the police station to look for Mu Qiqi. Yi Jingqing did not know that Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao had intervened in Mr. Lu's matter. He also did not know that Mu Qiqi had told Mu Tongxue about Mr. Lu's situation. He thought that Mu Tongxue went to Mu Qiqi to show off. If that was the case, he would be happy to see it happen. Are you feeling better after going out for some fresh air today? Mu Tongxue turned around and looked at Yi Jingqing. She nodded. Much better. Tongxue, you know that I only want you to be happy. I know. Mu Tongxue sighed helplessly. I really didn't expect your feelings for me to be so deep. Jingqing, I'm not worth it. You are worth it. I only want to give you the best, even if you want the moon in the sky. Actually, I've thought it through. Seeing Mu Qiqi living such a good life, I don't want to live a poor life either. After all, I'm from the Mu family. I'm the daughter of a rich family. How can I chase after a poor teacher? I promise to be with you. But I'm living in your house without a proper reason, and your parents don't like me. I feel very sad. After hearing Mu Tongshue's words, Yi Jingqing was overjoyed. He squatted in front of Mu Tongxue. Is what you said true? Of course it's true. Mu Tongxue nodded. Then I'll tell my parents now that I want to get engaged to you. Then you will have a proper reason. Yi Jingqing was too excited. What if your parents don't agree? It's useless. I must be with you. Wait for me. Having said that, Yi Jingqing left Mu Tongshue's room in a hurry and went to his parents' bedroom. Then he officially mentioned that he wanted to get engaged to Mu Tongxue. However, Mama Yi went crazy. Are you crazy? You brought her home. Your father and I don't care about you anymore, and you still want to get engaged to that little slut? Is there something wrong with your brain? Yi Jingqing 2 days ago, she was so desperate for that teacher. Now she is willing to marry you. Have you ever thought about why? Because she understood that I'm still the best for her. Who knows what that little B***TCH is up to? Don't even think about it. It's impossible for her to like you. Yi Jingqing, I'm warning you too. If you insist on getting engaged to that little B***TCH, it's not impossible. Just get out of the Yi family and stop being our son. Then there will be no more obstacles. Yi Jingqing looked at Yi Jingqing. Mama Ye's words were very decisive. She did not show any mercy, but did Yi Jingqing care? He did not care at all. I'm just informing you. Mu Tongxue is mine. Mu Tongxue was upstairs and heard the mother and son quarreling. Of course, this was just the beginning of Yi Jingqing losing everything. Didn't he think that he could do whatever he wanted? When he had nothing left, he would know what it felt like to be trampled by others. In the middle of the night, Tang Yen put his hands behind his head and closed his eyes to rest. However, when the clock struck 12, he opened his eyes in the dark. Under the dim light, the sound of someone picking the lock was very obvious. Then the person gently pushed the door open. But just as he took one step into the living room, Tang Yen quickly grabbed the person's clothes and heard the sound of something smashing in the living room. When Feng Shanshan heard that, she quickly got up and went to the living room. But when she turned on the chandelier in the living room, what she saw was Tang Yen pressing 2 men to the ground. Call the police immediately. Feng Shanshan immediately went back to the bedroom to get her phone. Then she called the police in the area. What's going on? What do you think? Tang Yen asked her with his bare upper body. Your anonymous letter has damaged the interests of many people. It's very common for people to come to you for revenge. Feng Shanshan suddenly understood the reason why Tang Yan was angry today. He must have been familiar with these tricks and had already guessed that someone would come to find trouble with her tonight. Even so, I don't regret what I did. Are you out of your mind? I'm out of my mind. Feng Shanshan shouted. Are you my father? Do I need you to tell me what I do? If it's just for me, it's not worth it. I don't need you to teach me what to do. After saying that, Feng Shanshan turned around and went back to her room. She knew what she was doing. That was enough. The two orphans had nothing to begin with. She didn't care what she had to sacrifice. Tang Yin sent them to the police station. Of course, these two people directly admitted that they had broken into the house and robbed. It had nothing to do with killing them. Then Tang Yin drove home alone. Sometimes, he really didn't understand if it was because of the uncontrollable factor in Feng Shanshan that made him fall in love with her. When he reached home, he opened the bedroom door with the key and quietly lay down beside Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan wasn't asleep. When she felt the man lying down, she couldn't help but move her body away. However, as she moved, Tang Yan moved too. In the end, she really couldn't move, so she got up and said, "Sleep by yourself." Tang Yan didn't say anything. He reached out and carried her over. Can't you be more obedient? I have my own persistence. I haven't slept for 2 days. After hearing Tang Yan's words, Feng Shanshan finally calmed down. She let him hug her and gradually fell asleep. The next day, Mu Qiqi was still lying on the bed when she heard Xing Xiao say to her, "Third brother is divorced." Mu Qiqi wasn't fully awake yet. It took her a while to wake up and sit up. What did you just say? Third brother is divorced. Xing Xiao repeated to Mu Qiqi as he put on his coat. What happened yesterday? Hu Ran has moved back to the Hu family. It seems that there's really no spark between them. Actually, this is good. Third brother still has other choices. He just hasn't met a woman who can make him crazy. I thought you would carry on your matchmaking spirit and help the two of them get back together. There's no love between them. Why should I do such a useless thing? Mu Qiqi got up from the bed and hugged Xing Xiao's waist. Mu Tongxue came to me yesterday. I told her about Mr. Lu's situation. Looking at her expression yesterday, she will definitely prepare a big move when she goes back. Xing Xiao didn't move and let her hug him. After a while, he said, "How long are you going to hold her? It's really a kind of pain to not be able to love someone." Mu Qiqi suddenly sighed. Why am I so lucky? The person I love also happens to love me. Chapter 651. Since there was nothing to do in the police station, Mu Qiqi decided to visit Xing Bowen in Huangyao. This person was used to suffering himself. Even if he was wronged, he would care about others first. Thinking of his current situation in love, Mu Qiqi bought some desserts for him when she passed by the cake shop. However, she still attracted a lot of gossip from the staff when she arrived at Huangyao. Mu Qiqi found Xing Bowen's secretary. Knowing that Xing Bowen was not in a meeting, she asked him to introduce her to him. Why are you here? Xing Bowen quickly got up from his chair when he saw Mu Qiqi. Of course, I heard about you in the morning. So, I came to see if you were crying. Mu Qiqi put down the cake and stared at Xing Bowen. But you don't look sad. Is there really no love? You are not here to see me. You are here to stab me. Xing Bowen smiled bitterly. I can't say that I have no feelings, but it is not deep either. They sat on the sofa and chatted for a while. Suddenly, the secretary who looked calm just now knocked on the door and said to Xing Bowen, "Co, something happened. Qiqi, sit here for a while. I will go and have a look." "I will go with you," Mu Qiqi said. Xing Bowen knew that Mu Qiqi was on his side, so he did not stop her. They walked out of the office together. The secretary explained as they walked. A customer came to the shop just now. He said that the diamonds he bought in Huangyao were fake. Because he is a VVIP member and is very domineering, the manager of the shop could not handle it. Huangyao had such a long history. How could they sell fake goods? I will go and handle it now. Having said that, Xing Bowen quickened his pace and Mu Qiqi followed behind him. Of course, she did not think that it was a coincidence. Because Xing Bowen was in charge of Huangyao now, and he was famous for his loyalty and generosity. It was inevitable that someone would take advantage of his character to achieve their own goals. Especially those who knew him well, such as Shen Kai. They soon arrived at the counter on the first floor of Huangyao. At this time, the rich lady was sitting on the sofa angrily. She saw that the sales manager was already bowing and apologizing to her. But obviously she did not buy it. Xiao Xing. When the crowd saw Xing Bowen, they quickly made way for him. When the man saw Xing Bowen, he pointed at him and said, "I've been a VIP customer of Huang Yao for so many years and I've never bought fake goods. How could I have thought that Huang Yao would also sell shoddy goods? I spent millions to buy it, but it was appraised as fake diamonds worth only a few thousand yuan. Third young master, don't you think you should give me an explanation?" Having said that, the rich woman threw the certificate in front of Xing Bowen. The diamond necklace, the receipt issued by Huang Yao, and the appraisal certificate issued by an authoritative appraisal firm. Take a good look at it yourself. By the way, I'm not short of money, and I don't need your manager to kneel and apologize to me. I just feel that my years of trust have been fed to the dogs. From now on, I won't buy anything from Huang Yao. Not only that, I'll see you in court. After venting her emotions, she got up and was about to turn around and leave. However, Xing Bowen stopped her. "Madam, please wait. What else do you have to say? Please give me 7 days to find out the truth. I will definitely tell you with facts and evidence that Huang Yao has never sold fake goods since its establishment. In order to live up to your trust, I hope you can give me a chance to prove my innocence." Xing Bowen's words were humble and sincere, but he was trembling with fear. Seeing this, the other party's anger subsided. He nodded. "All right then. Since it's the first time, I'll give you a chance. If you still can't produce any evidence in 7 days, I'll call the police." "Thank you." The other party snorted and turned to leave. At this time, Xing Bowen turned to the secretary and said, "Find out the relevant personnel immediately. I want to interrogate them personally." "Yes, President." With that, the secretary quickened her pace and left. Xing Bowen looked at Muchichi behind him and said to her apologetically, "I'm afraid I don't have time to chat with you today. Let's meet another day. It seems like someone deliberately tampered with it. You should also investigate carefully. You might have let some people go, but it doesn't mean that they will be grateful. Moreover, when they want to take revenge, they will do anything. Be careful. No one can help you now." After hearing Muchichi's words, Xing Bowen chuckled. "You're really smart. You can see the problem at a glance. Look for Xiao Xiao if there's anything. Don't worry." Xing Bowen patted Muchichi's shoulder and comforted her. "I won't see you off. Go ahead." Hu Ran left him at this time and now Xing Kai came back. Just thinking about it made Xing Bowen's situation very uncomfortable. He was not a capable person who could control the whole situation, but at least he was doing his best. Muchichi took a deep breath and immediately left Huang Yao. However, she did not know that someone was watching her every move in the dark. That person originally came to see how Xing Bowen would be defeated. He did not expect Muchichi to be there. These people who had once ridden on top of his head, he would definitely make them pay 100-fold or even 1,000-fold. After Muchichi left Huang Yao, she went to the martial arts classroom and continued to practice her self-defense skills. Because Xing Bowen's incident told her that she was now completely under Xing Zhao's protection. Once Xing Zhao's umbrella lost its effect, she would be the same as Xing Bowen. She would become a target for everyone. That morning, Feng Shanshan and Tang Yen did not appear at the police station. Because Tang Yen had just made a great contribution, the higher-ups gave him a day off. Feng Shanshan was still angry, so when she woke up, she got up on her own and did not want to talk to this man. In their minds, each of them was the king and they were not willing to give in at all. They were clearly doing it for each other, but they had to fight like this. Although Tang Yen seemed to be quiet and did not like to vent his anger, he would not give in even half an inch when the line was really stepped on. What happened to letting her handle it? What was going on now? Tang Yen slept until noon. When he woke up, he saw Feng Shanshan taking something from a high place, so he walked behind her to help. Feng Shanshan only felt that she was shrouded by a tall figure. She turned around and was shocked. "Can't you wear pants before coming out?" "I want to take a shower." Tang Yen handed the thing to her. "Go take a shower." After saying that, Feng Shanshan turned her face away and went into the kitchen. She was still angry, very angry. However, after Tang Yen finished taking a shower, he received a call from the chief. He did not even eat and went straight to the branch office. Chapter 652. After a morning's training, Muchichi went to Zhongting and told Xing Xiao everything she had seen and heard in Zhongting today. Xing Xiao sat in his chair and did not move. After a while he looked up at Muchichi. "This is a problem that will always happen when managing a company. Third brother has a way to deal with it." "Then I'm making a mountain out of a molehill." Muchichi held her chin and thought for a while. "But I always feel that there will be more serious consequences. Maybe I'm too narrow-minded. I'm always on guard against Shen Kai's revenge. After hearing Mu Qiqi's words, Xing Xiao hooked his finger at her. When she walked to him, Xing Xiao said, "There must be something wrong with me if I make you feel so insecure. It has nothing to do with you. It's a woman's natural instinct. It's our specialty to let our imagination run wild." Mu Qiqi sat on Xing Xiao's lap. "You continue. I'll sleep here for a while." After that, she yawned and put her head on Xing Xiao's shoulder. Then she closed her eyes and fell asleep. The secretary entered the office and saw this scene. She was not surprised at all. She just handed the important documents to Xing Xiao to sign without making a sound. In the afternoon, Yi Mansion was quiet. Mu Tongxue saw that Mama Yi was alone in the living room, so she went down to the second floor and walked to her. However, the current Mu Tongxue in front of Mama Yi was completely different from Yi Jingqing. Little b****, I knew you were good at pretending when you were young. I was right about you. Even so, Aunt Yi, don't you still have to prepare a grand engagement ceremony to welcome me as your daughter-in-law? Mu Tongxue sat beside Mama Yi and smiled at her. I can't help it. I'm also a victim. Who asked your son to not let me go? Mama Yi was speechless. She turned her head and looked elsewhere. Since we're getting engaged, I'll tell you my request. As the man's parents, you should show me something. I'm not asking for much. I just want 5% of Yi Holdings shares. I don't want to be bullied by you after I marry into your family. After hearing Mu Tongshua's request, Mama Yi slapped her without hesitation. I think you're crazy. It's already the luckiest thing you've ever had in your life to be engaged to my son. You still want the shares of Yi Group? Mama Yi said. Mu Tongxue covered her face and laughed again. It's fine if you don't give it to me. I'll ask your son for it. You know how generous he is to me, don't you? Even if I asked him to give me his heart, he would be willing. Before Mu Tongxue could finish, Mama Yi grabbed Mu Tongshue's hair and threw her to the ground. Then she kicked Mu Tongxue twice. You're not worthy. Bah. At the moment, Yi Mu was ugly, not like a lady in a rich family. Of course, she believed that anyone would go crazy if they met a woman like Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue did not struggle. Instead, she lay on the ground moaning in pain. It was only after Mama Yi left that the servants of the Yi family who had been hiding in a corner came out to help Mu Tongxue up. Naturally, Mu Tongxue knew that she was hiding behind the screen. That was why she angered Mama Yi. She believed that the servants must have recorded the scene in high definition and was waiting to send it to Yi Jingqing. Miss Mu, you're so pitiful. Why didn't you tell young master? The servants helped Mu Tongxue upstairs and placed her on the bed. I knew that his parents hated me, but I didn't expect them to hate me so much. Mu Tongxue cried silently. What are you talking about? Speaking of which, I'm the one who insisted on being with him. Miss Mu, please don't say that. Have a good rest. When young master comes back, he'll come to see you. Mu Tongxue nodded and lay on the bed. On the other hand, Yi Jingqing had received the video from the servants. In the video, he saw his mother punching and kicking Mu Tongxue. Therefore, he directly left the office and sped up to go home. Why are you back at this hour? Mama Mu was drinking tea in the garden. When she saw her son, she quickly asked. Yi Jingqing slapped her without a second thought. Whoever bullies Tongxue is my enemy. Even you can't do it. Mama Yi was stunned by Yi Jingqing's slap. It took her a long time to react. Are you crazy? You bastard? How dare you hit me? Mom, I'm warning you. If you bully Tongxue again, I'll pay you back tenfold. By then, don't blame me for being merciless. At this moment, on the second floor, the window of Mu Tongshue's room was open. She crossed her arms and looked at the movements in the garden. Then the corners of her lips curled up. The show had just begun. In the afternoon, Yi Holdings released the news that Yi Jingqing was getting engaged to Mu Tongxue. It was published in the newspaper. It showed how much Yi Jingqing valued Mu Tongxue. Mu Qiqi frowned when she read the newspaper. She didn't know if Mu Tongxue was sincere or not. Was it because she wanted to take revenge on Yi Jingqing or because she fell in love with power again? Of course, she was more inclined to the former. However, she didn't expect that the person in question would come to the police station so soon to share her answer. Are you here to ask for my congratulations? Mu Qiqi was wearing a white coat. She was called back to the lab by the professor in the afternoon. She was accompanying the professor in his experiment. Yi Jingqing does hope so, but... Mu Tongxue approached Mu Qiqi and whispered in her ear, I'm here to invite you to watch a good show. How do I know that this isn't your plan to deal with me? Sister, I'll watch over Mr. Liu no matter how much you love brother-in-law. You must come next weekend. I promised you that I'll take revenge for you. Mu Qiqi didn't agree to Mu Tongshue's invitation. but she could feel her hatred towards the Yi family and Yi Jingqing. Although Mu Tangxue was indeed a sinful person, she didn't want Mu Tangxue to disappear from this world. After that, Mu Tangxue left. But when she left, Mu Qiqi noticed that there were fingernail scratches on her face. And the way she walked was not right. She must have been slapped or treated violently. Why did she do that? Feng Shanshan saw Mu Qiqi standing at the door for a long time, so she leaned on her back. What are you thinking about? You look so focused. I suspect that Yi Jingqing did something to Mu Tangxue, said Mu Qiqi. Didn't I say that the wicked will be tortured by the wicked? What? Do you feel sorry for her? Mu Qiqi didn't say anything because she didn't know how far Mu Tangxue would go in order to destroy Yi Jingqing. Although she was happy to see it happen, Yi Jingqing was a man who would do anything to achieve his goals. Chapter 653. That was why life was really a cycle of karma. If Mu Tangxue was really willing to go so far for Mr. Lu, what was he thinking? After leaving the lab, Mu Qiqi called Xing Xiao. She wanted to meet Mr. Lu. Xing Xiao sent Su Che to pick her up and directly sent her to Zhongting's factory. Mr. Lu was there, receiving training from Zhongting's employees. After staying there for a few days, he was really influenced by Zhongting's corporate culture. He felt that staying here was more meaningful than being a teacher. That was why he decided to stay and develop his career in Zhongting. In the evening, Mu Qiqi met Mr. Lu alone. He knew who Mu Qiqi was, but he still felt a little uncomfortable when he thought of how similar her cheeks were to Mu Tangshue's. However, he knew very well that the person in front of him was not a nurse, but a real forensic doctor. Mr. Lu, I'm sorry for wasting your time. What's there to waste? If you and Chief Xing didn't bring me back, I might still be suffering in the mountains. Mr. Lu appeared a little bashful. What do you think of Mu Tangxue? Mu Qiqi did not come here to exchange pleasantries with him. She wanted to know if this man had any feelings for Mu Tangxue. She's a very special student, Mr. Lu said honestly. It's a little unbearable to be liked by her. Does that mean that you don't have any feelings for her other than that of a teacher and a student? Mr. Lu shook his head firmly. Oh, all right, I'm sorry for wasting your time, you stay here. Having said that, Mu Qiqi left the meeting room in Zhongting's factory. That left Mr. Lu scratching his head. When Mu Qiqi was serious, she looked much more mysterious than Mu Tangxue. At the very least, the teacher could not tell what she was thinking. Mu Qiqi only felt pity for Mu Tangxue. She had sacrificed everything to protect this man and avenge him. But in the end, this man really had no feelings for Mu Tangxue. He only treated her as someone he knew. That was all. Was it worth it? After returning to Zhongting, Mu Qiqi fell into Xing Xiao's arms in silence. Seeing that she was upset, Xing Xiao did not ask what happened. It was only on the way home that he asked, "What did you talk about with that teacher?" I asked him if he had feelings for Mu Tangxue. Mu Qiqi answered honestly. I want to know if the man Mu Tangxue gave her heart to is worth it. What's your conclusion? I can only say that she deserves it. After that, Mu Qiqi lay on Xing Xiao's lap. No matter how depressed she was, it was a fact that she could not change. Mu Tangxue invited us to her engagement ceremony with Yi Jingqing next weekend. She asked me to go and watch the show. Then let's go. Xing Xiao answered her directly. At the same time in Feng Shanshan's courtyard. Since Tang Yin had not seen him since he went out today, Feng Shanshan did whatever she wanted to do. She did not have to care about him. It seemed that she was the only one who was angry. Tang Yin acted as if nothing had happened. He even avoided talking to her and even quarreled with her. But Feng Shanshan was an impatient person. If she did not make things clear, she would not be able to eat or sleep well. Because of this premise, she sat in her courtyard, waiting for Tang Yan's figure. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Tang Yan drove home. When he saw Feng Shanshan sitting in the courtyard, he went up to her and said, "Don't you know that you are now the focus of the pursuit? And it's so blatant. I'm in my own house. Do I have to hide and lock the door?" Feng Shanshan asked Tang Yan in return. "Go in. Let's make things clear first. What are you thinking about our relationship?" Feng Shanshan crossed her arms and asked him, "Do you think this is a hotel? Do you think that I, your girlfriend, is dispensable? I know you can sacrifice everything, even me, for the sake of investigating the case, but please hide a little. Don't take it for granted. It's none of my business where you go. I should stand by the side and ignore who framed you. If you die outside, it's fine if others collect your body. I don't have to look for you. Do you think I'm annoying you? What kind of trash am I with? I don't feel warm at all. No wonder your ex cheated. I won't cheat, but I can't stand you either. After saying that, Feng Shanshan got up from the chair. Although she knew that the last sentence was too harsh, this man still did not react at all. After a long time he said, "It's cold outside. Go in." I don't have asterisk king feel safe. What's the difference between going in and coming out? And the person who makes me worry is you. I'm sorry, Tang Yen said in a low voice. I don't think I can be a qualified partner. So? Are you going to break up? I'll try to learn. Although Feng Shanshan was so angry, she really did not think about breaking up with this man. What? So, when she heard Tang Yen say those words, she heaved a sigh of relief. That's more like it. I'm not like those pretentious girls outside who need you to coax them. Is it so difficult to let you do the most basic thing? Tang Yen reached out and pulled Feng Shanshan over. He put his arm around her shoulders and walked home together. It's just that there's suddenly a woman who's stronger than a man. I'm not used to it. I don't know how to get along with her. You told me to take care of her. Tang Yen stopped talking. In fact, he had deliberately stayed away from Feng Shanshan for the past 2 days because he had just carried out an important mission. He was afraid that he would be followed by the criminals' henchmen. If they found out that he had a woman at home, it would bring unimaginable disaster to Feng Shanshan. It was just that this woman did not seem to understand how much he cared about her. He was not good with words, but he would protect his woman. But obviously what a woman wanted was not just a man's protection behind her back. Perhaps it was because they had not done it for a long time, so after the two of them went home, they were like dry wood and a raging fire. However, Tang Yen had a lot of injuries on his body, so he could not go all out. However, this was not a problem for Feng Shanshan. The two of them repeatedly pressed against each other. In the end, Feng Shanshan wrote on his body, "Let me do it." Of course, Tang Yen would not refuse at this time. Chapter 654. Mu Qiqi's guess was right. Huang Yao's fake diamonds had a more serious follow-up. Early in the morning, another Huang Yao customer brought a reporter to Huang Yao's counter. Just like the rich lady before, she also bought a fake one. If there was only one case, it might not prove that someone deliberately framed Huang Yao. But there were 2 cases in a row. How could Sheng Bowen continue to comfort himself? Every necklace and accessory in Huang Yao had a special serial number corresponding to it. Moreover, there were specialized senior customer service staff in charge of sales in every area. But from the beginning until now, the staff in charge of that area had disappeared. The corresponding diamond was also missing. Wasn't that enough to explain the problem? Sheng Bowen called the police late last night. Before dawn, an emergency board meeting was held and an emergency plan was launched. Now Huang Yao's jewelry sales were completely stopped. Sheng Bowen asked the employees to check the current jewelry in Huang Yao one by one to prevent any more fake goods. But even if he did this, there were still some loopholes. Sheng Bowen had already sent people to look for the customer that the missing employee was in charge of and sincerely recovered the jewelry. However, he was not willing to buy some people at all, especially this rich young lady in front of him. Of course, this was her personal choice. The staff of Huang Yao tried to communicate with her, but found that it was useless. She did not really want to solve the problem. She just wanted to expose the fake jewelry in Huang Yao. She was angry. She felt that Huang Yao had hurt her interests as a VVIP member of Huang Yao. She was embarrassed wearing fake jewelry when she went out. Then the news in Jianchuan followed up and reported it. Huang Yao immediately issued a public relations document. First, it was a sincere apology. Due to the staff's poor management, the interests of the consumers were damaged. Huang Yao had called the police, and the police would find the person involved as soon as possible. Secondly, Huang Yao would recover the jewelry sold by the staff to protect the rights of every consumer. They also promised that Huang Yao would identify the authenticity of the jewelry on the spot and give the consumers the most satisfactory answer. Once the public relations document was issued, it did not restore much confidence in Huang Yao. Because it was the time when the consumers were disgusted, the matter continued to ferment. Old Sheng had planned to live out his remaining years in peace. After all, it was not easy for him to keep his life. But now that the news about Huang Yao had blown up, he would not be old Sheng if he pretended that nothing had happened. So he called Sheng Bowen home. "Third brother, what's going on?" Old Master Sheng pointed at the news on the television and asked, "Wasn't it fine 2 days ago?" "Grandpa, I'm sorry. I'm useless." Sheng Bowen said helplessly, "I can't be like 8th brother and kill all problems in the cradle. I've seen your public relations work. There's nothing you missed out on. You've done everything you should." Old Master Sheng sighed. I just want to know if this matter has anything to do with Sheng Kai. Sheng Bowen lowered his head and did not look at the old man. After a while, he replied, the matter is still under investigation. We can't be sure yet. I know that you're worried about my health. Old Master Sheng waved his hand. It's my fault that I didn't get rid of this evil creature. Now that he has made a comeback and wants to stir up trouble, you're the only one who can bear it. After saying that, Old Master Sheng turned around and supported himself on the chair. Sheng Bowen was worried about his health, so he quickly went forward to support him. Grandpa, I will do my best to protect Huang Yao. Although I'm not as smart as eighth brother, as long as I'm the CEO of Huang Yao, I will treat Huang Yao as my own life. Old Master Sheng shook his head and patted him on the shoulder. Just do your best. Now he was no longer obsessed with these things. However, Sheng Bowen still felt that he had a great responsibility. So, after meeting Old Master Sheng, he returned to Huang Yao. But when the secretary saw him, she said awkwardly, CO, there's another distinguished guest. Sheng Bowen knew very well that they were probably here for the shares in Sheng Kai's hands. These people were taking advantage of the situation. He did not know how much they would lower the price. It's okay. Make tea and bring it to the conference room. After the incident at Huang Yao broke out, Mu Chichi also paid close attention to it. If the troublemaker's rich wife yesterday was just a test subject, then this rich young lady today should be a new breed that the other party had improved and was more aggressive. The divorce between Hu Ran and Sheng Bowen was already a blow to him. Now that Huang Yao was being targeted like this, Mu Chichi could not imagine how difficult her brother's life would be. It was especially so for Old Master Sheng, who had just returned home. He valued Huang Yao the most. Now that such a thing happened to Huang Yao, she did not know if he would be provoked and return to the hospital again. Feng Shanshan saw that she was not paying attention, so she asked her, do you want to go back and help? There's nothing much to do in the station these few days. You don't need to waste your time here. How can I help? I've heard about the VVIP night of Huang Yao that you planned. Although you're really annoying, you're really smart. Moreover, you're a forensic doctor after all. You'll definitely be able to detect problems better than the average person. Maybe you can really find something when you go back and take a look. Mu Chichi shook her head. I don't know about jewelry, but you've seen a lot of schemes. But Xing Xiao said that this time he would let Sheng Bowen grow alone. So, even if she wanted to help, she felt that her man was right. And what identity should I go with? Mu Chichi rolled her eyes. When she was about to go back to the lab, a senior came to her and told her that someone was looking for her. Mu Chichi thought that it was Mu Tangxue again and did not want to see her. But when she saw the person, she realized that the person was looking for Sheng Bowen. It was Hu Ran. Did I disturb you? No. Mu Chichi shook her head. They were not related in name anymore. Mu Chichi did not know this former sister-in-law very well. So, it was inevitable that they would feel awkward. If you're here to ask about third brother, I suggest you go and see him yourself. I don't know much either. All I know is from TV and gossip. Having said that, Mu Chichi was about to leave, but Hu Ran stopped her. I never thought that I would leave him at this critical moment. I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Chapter 655. Since you left so decisively, don't pretend to be affectionate to tease him. He's already in a bad situation. You know, third brother is easily soft-hearted. This was Mu Chichi's last advice to Hu Ran. And Hu Ran could tell from Mu Chichi's words that she hated her. Because Mu Chichi was a very direct person. If she liked someone, she liked them. She hated them, she hated them. Since she accepted her as her third sister-in-law because of Sheng Bowen, she could also hate her because of Sheng Bowen. She was the one who wanted to leave, and now she was the one who pretended to care. Although Mu Chichi did not want to comment on other people's feelings, she knew that she should not give up easily. If she wanted to give up, she should do it directly. In fact, Hu Ran did not know why she had become such a disgusting person. Sheng Bowen probably thought the same about her. After Mu Chichi returned to the laboratory, she still felt sorry for Sheng Bowen. So, she took off her white coat and said to Feng Shanshan, I'll go and see if third brother needs my help. Go. I think you should be able to help a lot. Mu Chichi left the branch office. On the way she called Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao knew that this little one could not help but not care about him. It would be fine if it was someone else, but she cared about Sheng Bowen as a real brother. Don't interfere with things that you shouldn't interfere with. You have to know your limits. Also, you'd better go and help, not cause trouble. You underestimate me. Mu Chichi snorted. I'll talk to you in detail when I get home tonight. After that, Mu Chichi hung up. At this time, Xing Xiao asked Su Che about Xing Kai's recent news. If it was really Xing Kai this time, he would definitely make Xing Kai fall into eternal damnation. An hour later, Mu Qiqi arrived at Huang Yao. Now the entrance was surrounded by reporters. It seemed that they did not want to give her a chance to breathe. Seeing this, Mu Qiqi could only call Xing Bowen. "Third brother, your helper is here." Xing Bowen hesitated for a moment, but he still felt that Mu Qiqi's little brain might really be able to help him. So he asked his secretary to bring Mu Qiqi upstairs. However, during this process the secretary seemed to be different from other secretaries. "Miss Mu, I used to work for Xing Kai." Mu Qiqi was stunned for a moment, but the secretary continued. "Back then he asked me to spy on the president, and I was sent to the president's side. The president also knew that I was a spy, but he didn't fire me. Instead, he still gave me an important task. He is a very kind person. That's why I feel terrible seeing him suffer like this. I hope that Miss Mu can help him. I know that you're very outstanding." Mu Qiqi's heart skipped a beat when she heard that. She did not expect third brother's secretary to have such a background. She had never heard him mention it before. "I hope so. I can help him." Soon the two of them arrived at the CEO's office. When Xing Bowen saw Mu Qiqi, he forced a smile. "Eighth brother asked you to help me? Didn't he say that he wouldn't care about such things? Don't listen to him. What does he mean by not interfering with your growth? I think that person must have done more behind the scenes. It's just that we don't know yet. In this world, you are probably the person who knows him the best." Mu Qiqi saw that his desk was full of documents. She knew how troubled he was. "Is there anything I can help you with now? The police are doing their best to arrest that employee. Although Huang Yao was framed, it's also because of our negligence that this happened. No matter what, I must bear this responsibility. The most troublesome thing now is how to appease the two VVIP members who bought the fake goods. It seems that they don't want to reconcile or even solve the problem. They just want to vent their anger. Before they are appeased, I can't proceed with the second step. Let me have a look at their information. Maybe I can handle it?" Mu Qiqi said. Xing Bowen looked at Mu Qiqi deeply and finally nodded. "I'll ask my secretary to prepare it for you. What's your secretary's name?" "Ren Yufei." "What's wrong?" Mu Qiqi looked at his back and shook her head. "It's nothing. If I really get rid of these two people, how are you going to thank me? What do you want? Just tell me." Xing Bowen knew that Mu Qiqi did not lack anything. Whatever she wanted, eighth brother would do it for her. "I'll owe you. Of course, I'm not 100% confident. I might make things worse. You have to be mentally prepared." "What could be worse than this?" Xing Bowen couldn't help but sneer. "Have you asked Xing Kai about it? I'll solve my own problem first." Obviously, Xing Bowen had a deep understanding of his situation. It also meant that he was actually a down-to-earth man, although he might not be as smart as Xing Xiao. Mu Qiqi did not mention Xing Kai again. She felt that Xing Kai's name was not worthy to be mentioned in front of third brother. Soon, Secretary Ren gave Mu Qiqi the information of the two VVIP members. Mu Qiqi seized the time and acted immediately. As a matter of fact, old Xing really wanted to do something for Huang Yao, even if it was something insignificant. However, he knew that he shouldn't trouble third brother with his current situation. Moreover, he believed that eighth brother would support Huang Yao from behind, which was why he forced himself to let go of his worries for Huang Yao and Xing Bowen. However, his anxiety was relieved when he heard that Mu Qiqi would go over to help. Indeed, one could only see the truth in adversity. At a time like this, we can't rely on anyone from the Xing family. It's hard on that girl. She knows nothing about jewelry, but she is still willing to help. In fact, old Master Xing trusted Mu Qiqi very much. He had seen the VVIP night planned by this girl. She was very smart. Moreover, she was good at resolving conflicts. But when he thought of how he treated her in the past, he could not help but feel a little ashamed. Mu Qiqi looked at the information of the two guests. One was a rich lady and the other was a rich young lady. Although Mu Qiqi was not sure if they were really related to Xing Kai, the two types of people had completely different personalities. Of course, they would solve things differently. Chapter 656. Xing Bowen gave Secretary Ren to Mu Qiqi because she knew the current situation of Huang Yao better. In fact, Ren Yufei really wanted to know what Mu Qiqi was planning. Why didn't she go to the rich lady's house first? Instead, she wanted to look for this rich lady first. The two of them soon arrived at the door of the rich lady's house. Before entering, Ren Yufei asked Mu Qiqi with some uncertainty, Miss Mu, are you really going to deal with this reporter first? She is a very difficult person to deal with. Don't think about it. Let's go in, Mu Chichi said meaningfully. Mu Chichi said meaningfully, I've seen a lot of troublesome people. I won't let you down. How can I bear to make you worry about third brother? Ren Yufei's face suddenly turned red. It seemed that Mu Chichi's guess was right. This secretary had slowly changed from admiration to liking Xing Bowen. Miss Mu, please don't make such a joke. After all, the president is also a man with a family. I don't want him to be misunderstood. That was true. At present, the outside world still did not know the news of Xing Bowen and Hu Ran's divorce. However, she would not tell the secretary about it because she did not want this well-behaved secretary to become Xing Bowen's healing medicine. It was very unfair to her. Alright, I'll be careful in the future. You can go and ring the doorbell. Ren Yufei nodded and went forward to ring the doorbell. Then, the family servant came out to open the door and asked Mu Chichi who they were looking for. Ren Yufei expressed the purpose of their visit, and the servant quickly invited the two of them into the living room. However, the two of them waited in the living room for about an hour before they saw the rich lady get up from the bed. It was winter, but she was wearing beige silk pajamas. She sat down in front of Mu Chichi and Ren Yufei. You're here for the fake diamond incident, right? But I've already expressed my position very clearly. I don't want any compensation and I don't need any apology. Huang Yao has embarrassed me. I won't let it go. Is this logic right? The other party glanced at the two of them and said in an impolite tone, no matter what you want me to ask for today, I will tell you that when I'm not angry, Huang Yao will never be good. Miss Gao, do I look like someone from Huang Yao? Mu Chichi asked with a smile. The man looked at Mu Chichi suspiciously. Then he said, I've seen your secretary twice. Miss Gao, you come from a famous family, and you are also a fashion reporter. You have been involved with fashion since young, and you have a public account on all the major websites. Am I right? What are you trying to say? Mu Chichi smiled confidently and took out her phone from her pocket. She found the short video she had just searched for and showed it to him. This video is quite old. It's one of Miss Gao's early works. It clearly records how Miss Gao taught everyone how to distinguish between real and fake diamonds. So, with all due respect, with Miss Gao's eyesight, it's unlikely that you can't tell if this diamond necklace is real or fake, right? The man did not expect Mu Chichi to show him the video. His expression was a little unnatural. You said it yourself. It was years ago. She already had such a good eye for diamonds a few years ago. Could it be that after a few years Miss Gao's eye for diamonds has deteriorated? Don't you know how to distinguish between diamonds? Then aren't you lying to the public by posting these on all the public accounts? Mu Chichi looked innocent and curious. But, in fact, she was pressuring the man step by step. If Miss Gao really admitted that she bought a fake necklace, then she would be suspected of lying to the fans. In fact, it would be a bad thing for both sides. I was confused for a moment. What's so strange about that? Miss Gao, I also believe that you were confused for a moment. But the fans won't believe it, right? Mu Chichi knocked on the glass coffee table with her finger. The man was obviously speechless after hearing Mu Chichi's words. He could only look away. The rich lady from before said that she bought a fake diamond. Alright, I'll assume that she is a nouveau riche. It's reasonable for her to buy a fake necklace. But would a fashionista like Miss Gao make such a mistake? Mu Chichi pressed on. The man's eyes flickered. He subconsciously clenched his fists. This was a sign of nervousness. Miss Gao, you don't have to be nervous. After all, I've said that I'm not an employee of Huang Yao. I'm not here today to criticize you. I just want to help you solve your problem. The man pursed his lips. Finally, he turned around and looked at Mu Chichi warily. Can you really solve it? That must be built on the basis of mutual trust. Miss Gao, you should tell me why you want to do this. This is the premise. Mu Chichi took the opportunity to make a request. The man was obviously very resistant to this answer. Moreover, what Mu Chichi said was not a big enough threat to Miss Gao. I can't say. Mu Chichi seemed to have expected this answer. She smiled and said, that's fine. I still have to go to the rich lady's place. I just don't know what kind of answer she will give me. And Miss Gao, let me give you a piece of advice. Slandering Huang Yao will not do you any good. Even if Huang Yao closes down in the end, the Sheng family still has Zhongting. But what about you? If Huang Yao is damaged as the person involved, don't think that you can stay out of it. At most, we will all die together. It's fine for us. The Sheng family is a big business. At most, we will earn less money. But for you, your reputation will be ruined in front of your fans. This will be worse than killing you. After all, this is the result of your hard work. So it's fine. I'm also very easygoing. I'm just here to express my stance. Since you have given me the answer, then, let's go first. After all, Miss Gao's time is very precious. Having said that, Mu Qiqi stood up from the sofa. Ren Yufei followed behind her. The two of them walked toward the door without any hesitation. It was as if they were not afraid that Huang Yao's reputation would be ruined. Helpless, Miss Gao had no choice but to stop her. If I tell you who the mastermind is, will you be able to think of a way to solve this problem? I said, you have to tell me what happened first. I don't like people negotiating with me. The other party was really helpless. In the end, she made a gesture of invitation. Sit down first. I will tell you slowly. When Mu Qiqi and Ren Yufei returned to their seats, Miss Gao said, you guessed right. When I went to buy the diamond, I already knew that the necklace was fake. Chapter 657. Who? His surname is also Sheng. He didn't let me know his full name, and that's all I know. As long as I act well, not only can I get compensation from Huang Yao, but I can also get a reward from him. Because of this temptation, I agreed. Miss Gao told her everything. Because she knew very well that Mu Qiqi was the one who scared people now. This girl was too smart. It's really him. Mu Qiqi sneered. You can't get the money. I can only guarantee that you won't lose your reputation. But you can't do anything like leading the way anymore. I admit defeat when I meet you. The other party spread out her hands helplessly. You have your own resources and are born with a lot of ways to make money. However, the last thing you should do is harm the interests of others to achieve your own goals. Not to mention that Huang Yao is innocent, your way of doing things is unreasonable no matter where you go. Blocking people's way of making money is like killing their parents. Do you think that even if you get the money you won't be hurt? Especially as a public figure, if you don't cherish your own feathers, it's only a matter of time before you self-destruct. Think about it carefully. After hearing this, Miss Gao couldn't help but laugh at herself. I'm almost 28 years old. My knowledge and foresight can't compare to a young girl in her early 20s. I'm convinced. What do you need me to do? Mu Qiqi looked at her and then whispered a plan in her ear. The whole process only took half an hour. Ren Yufei thought that she would spend the whole day with Mu Qiqi. She even imagined that they would talk to each other in a low voice. However, she did not expect that Mu Qiqi looked young and impatient. In fact, there was a ravine in her heart. No wonder Ren Yufei saw Mu Qiqi playing with her phone all the way here. It turned out that Mu Qiqi was preparing to negotiate with Miss Gao. Miss Mu, where are we going now? To that rich lady's house? Mu Qiqi shook her head. There's no need. As I said, the rich lady can pretend that I don't know anything, so what we did just now won't be able to threaten her. That Miss Gao cares because she's very famous outside. This rich lady is just an accessory to her husband. She lives in seclusion. As long as Miss Gao comes out to appease the consumers, what's the big deal about the rich lady? Let's go back to Huang Yao. Ren Yufei nodded and followed behind Mu Qiqi. The two of them quickly returned to Huang Yao. Sheng Bowen was even a little surprised. Has he been dealt with? More accurately, I've settled half of it. Mu Qiqi smiled. Third brother, I didn't tell you about this when we went out to look for Miss Gao. Since they are already VVIP customers of Huang Yao, why can't they tell the difference between real and fake diamonds? Have you ever thought about it? Sheng Bowen pondered for a few seconds and finally understood. That Gao guy, in order to show off, made a video of him trying to distinguish diamonds. But this time she bought a fake diamond. Do you think her fans will still believe her in the future? But she doesn't want to stand out and say that I was forced to do it for money. So, I thought of a compromise. I asked her to go to the hospital as soon as possible to get a certificate to prove that there's something wrong with her eyes, so that she can't distinguish the diamonds. Then she will come out and make a statement. Only then will her public image not collapse in front of her fans. She will take this opportunity to speak up for Huang Yao. After Sheng Bowen heard this, he gave her a thumbs up. You've been with eighth brother for a long time. You've become so good at doing things. I can't help but admire you. In short, I have to thank you for this. Say thank you later. You can go with your little secretary. I'll wait for Miss Gao to come out and make a statement. Sheng Bowen patted Mu Qiqi's shoulder. His heart was heavy at first, but at this moment he suddenly felt relieved. Then I'll be busy. Yufei, prepare the documents. I have a meeting soon. Mu Qiqi stayed in Shen Bowen's office. She didn't go anywhere. Because she couldn't guarantee that Gao Gai would really speak up for Huang Yao. Who could say for sure what would happen in the future? Especially since the little secretary had gone with Sheng Bowen. Now, there was no one in the office to accompany her to relieve her boredom. In the meeting room of Huang Yao, the board of directors was currently discussing the issue of Sheng Kai's shares. According to the information that Shen Bowen had, Sheng Kai seemed to have decided to sell his shares to a notorious foreigner. To Sheng Kai he could do whatever he wanted now. After all, he just needed to sit at home and collect money. He was not the one who needed to worry about how to manage the company. The police have made a major breakthrough. There are clues about the salesman and the whereabouts of the real necklace. After all, it's a big deal. It's not easy for him to sell it, so he put it on the black market. But the police intercepted it. Judging from the two incidents, both were done by Sheng Kai. Our people who went to look for Miss Gao have already understood the situation clearly. At present there are more and more clues. It's also beneficial for us. Sooner or later the truth will come to light. Co Sheng, I don't doubt your ability. But shouldn't we think of a way to get rid of Sheng Kai? Otherwise we will have endless trouble in the future. In the meeting room the discussion was in full swing. After a while, Sheng Bowen brought his secretary to a video conference because several of his partners had shaken their confidence in the cooperation. He had to appease them first. Meanwhile, Ren Yufei tirelessly followed by his side. She did not even complain for a moment. Perhaps it was because Miss Gao needed time to prepare, so Mu Qiqi waited in Huang Yao's office until the afternoon. Huang Yao's shares were still plummeting. Mu Qiqi thought that she would wait for Miss Gao to arrive at 4 o'clock. If Miss Gao was still unwilling or did not have the courage to stand up, then she would make her move. Just when she was bored, Xing Xiao called her. How is it? Mu Qiqi looked at the time and answered Xing Xiao, I'm waiting for news. It's just that it's really boring in third brother's office. Su Che is downstairs. Go home, little one. Xing Xiao smiled. Since you're waiting, why don't you stay by my side? Of course, I'd rather be with you. After Mu Qiqi hung up the phone, she quickly went downstairs. At this time, one of the people involved in the fake diamond incident stood out in public again. Chapter 658. If the person involved in this matter continued to bite on Huang Yao, then Huang Yao's positive image would continue to decline in the hearts of the consumers. Therefore, Miss Gao's attitude was very important. However, she had made it clear last time that she would not reconcile with Huang Yao. She must see Huang Yao's reputation fall to the ground. So, if she spoke again, did it mean that she would reveal more about the communication between her and Huang Yao? Maybe there would be some big news? But, to everyone's surprise, Miss Gao first apologized to the media and the public as soon as she came out. Then she took out the diagnosis she had prepared. She claimed that there was indeed something wrong with her eyes recently. Her vision was always blurry and she had double vision. So, when she chose the diamonds, she might have done it under the condition of poor eyesight. She did not do a good job of distinguishing the diamonds, so she was also responsible. Secondly, under such a premise, she also came to the conclusion that this matter was a problem with the internal employees of Huang Yao from beginning to end. It was not a problem with Huang Yao's diamonds. This also showed that the quality of Huang Yao was still trustworthy. In addition, Huang Yao had recently added a segment to test the authenticity of the diamonds on the spot. Therefore, from this point of view, what Huang Yao needed to solve now was internal staff conflicts. As long as the person who set the pace led the problem to the right path, then the public would shift their attention to the real problem. In other words, it was meaningless for the media to hype up the news of Huang Yao selling fake goods. As for the rich madam, just as Mu Qiqi said, after Miss Gao came out to speak, she became completely unimportant. Because Miss Gao had already said that there was no problem with the quality of Huang Yao. However, no one in this world was perfect. You could not expect the company and everyone to never have a problem. You had to give them time to solve it. And Huang Yao was also actively responding, and the police were also trying their best to arrest the suspect. Therefore, Miss Gao felt that she should not use her popularity to cause negative damage to Huang Yao. With such a change in direction, the people of Huang Yao immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Even if there was no way to immediately eliminate the negative impact, it was equivalent to releasing all the pressure on them. Mississippi Mu, you are really capable and smart. This was Ren Yufei's feeling after following behind Mu Qiqi for a long time. Maybe it's because of her keen senses as a forensic doctor that she can easily see things that we can't. When we went to the Gao family, I really thought that we would have to kneel and apologize to each other. After Sheng Bowen heard this, he smiled. Xiao Qi has reached out her hand and achieved the desired effect. It's time for us to work hard and complete our mission. After that, Xing Bowen looked at his watch. Let's go. We're running out of time. When the police bring him back, we should go and meet Xing Kai. From the bottom of his heart, Xing Bowen admitted that Mu Qiqi had helped him a lot this time. Perhaps, his eighth brother and his wife were his benefactors in this life. At the same time, he learned a little about Mu Qiqi's meticulousness. At the very least, he would be more confident in dealing with such emergencies in the future. Mu Qiqi was very satisfied when she saw Miss Gao's statement on TV. At least, she had accurately conveyed what she wanted that woman to say to the public. At least the huge mountain that was pressing down on Huang Yao's head was finally gone. Third brother should be able to relax now, said Mu Qiqi as she leaned against Xing Zhao's desk. Well done, Xing Zhao praised without looking up. You know how to use the available clues to counterattack. Didn't I learn it from you? Mu Qiqi walked around the desk and sat on Xing Zhao's lap. I've been subtly influenced by you. You grasped the key point and broke it in one blow. But you haven't done it thoroughly enough. Xing Zhao looked at her and said, you only managed to save your life. You're considered qualified. But you haven't learned the most important thing, counterattack. Have you forgotten that there's a saying? You'll get yourself into trouble? Mu Qiqi suddenly realized that Xing Zhao was reminding her not to forget the person who ignited the fire. Once the crisis of Huang Yao was resolved, it would be the time for others to suffer. So, that night, there was a new development in the case of Huang Yao selling fake diamonds. Someone had been bribed and instigated. It was said that this person had a deep grudge against the Sheng family before, and this move was to take revenge. Moreover, Xing Kai had been planning to sell his shares in Huang Yao recently. So, the public naturally pointed the finger at Xing Kai as the suspect. The consortium that had originally planned to buy Xing Kai's shares withdrew automatically when they found out that Xing Kai had such a deep grudge against the Sheng family. After all, they did not want to be involved too much with the grudges of a wealthy family. In addition, Xing Bowen was as calm as Mount Tai. Therefore, the internal affairs of Huang Yao were temporarily stabilized by him. This was probably because of the blessing brought about by his loyal personality. Especially in times of crisis, such people were often more likely to gain the trust of others. However, the thrilling events of the past 2 days were still very hard for Huang Yao. Xing Bowen worked overtime at the company until late at night. When he looked up and saw the secretary behind the glass door, he could not help but feel guilty. So he stood up and walked to Ren Yufei. You can get off work long ago. You don't have to stay here. Now that Huang Yao has passed the crisis, go back and rest or go on a date with your boyfriend. Ren Yufei saw Xing Bowen's tall figure and nodded. Okay, then I'll go home first. This little girl was really affectionate and loyal. She had done her best for Huang Yao. The fake diamond incident was like a storm for Huang Yao. It came and went quickly. After Xing Bowen settled the matter of Huang Yao and returned home, he told Old Master Sheng about Mu Qiqi's contributions. When Old Master Sheng heard about it, he sighed repeatedly. How good would it be if this girl didn't become a forensic doctor and helped manage Huang Yao? Grandpa, all right, I know that her ambition is not here and I won't force her. However, it was indeed because of that girl's wit that Huang Yao was able to get through the crisis so quickly this time. Treat her to a meal some other day and thank her for me. After hearing Old Master Sheng's words, Xing Bowen laughed. After this old man was sick, he was indeed very different from before. He was also willing to understand others. Chapter 659. I don't want to think about this for the time being. I just got divorced, so I haven't forgotten about her yet, Xing Bowen replied. Although there was no passionate love between him and Hu Ran, they had been husband and wife for so long. He really couldn't turn around and find another woman. Up to you. After saying that, the old man returned to his room. Then Xing Bowen called Xing Xiao. Want to have a drink with Xiao Qi? Sure, Xing Xiao said. Then I'll choose a place and send you the address. Xing Xiao was silent for a moment and did not respond. It was as if he was talking to the woman beside him. After about 10 seconds he asked Xing Bowen, the little one said to bring Secretary Ren along. How am I going to look for her? She has her own life. Don't worry, she's single. It won't be inconvenient. Xing Xiao followed Mu Qiqi's words and hung up without waiting for Xing Bowen's reply. Xing Bowen's eyes widened. Wasn't it strange for him to call the secretary in the middle of the night and ask her out for a meal? He thought that as a superior he was going to sleep with the secretary. These two people were completely making things difficult for him. However, eating was not the main point. Mu Qiqi had done a great job today. If he couldn't even satisfy Mu Qiqi's request, It wouldn't make sense. Therefore he bit the bullet and found Ren Yufei's number. Then he braced himself and dialed the number. He even silently prayed in his heart that Ren Yufei had already turned off her phone and gone to sleep. However, he didn't expect the phone to ring and Ren Yufei picked up. "President?" "Yes, it's me." Sheng Bowen pretended to be serious. "Are you asleep?" "Well, Xiaoqi asked me out for a meal and asked me to call you. She said that you've been working hard with me recently. She asked if you're willing." "Okay, tell me the address." Ren Yufei trusted Sheng Bowen very much. Since Mu Qiqi was there, the situation shouldn't be awkward. "See you later then." He didn't know what Xiaoqi was up to. She had to see Secretary Ren in the middle of the night. Was she very familiar with her? No matter what, Sheng Bowen didn't have any other thoughts. After greeting old Master Sheng, he went straight out. On Sheng Zhao's side, Mu Qiqi was overjoyed. I can totally imagine third brother's embarrassed look when he called Secretary Ren. "Do you think they have a chance?" Sheng Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi helplessly. This thing had been getting into all sorts of matches lately. I can see that Secretary Ren likes third brother. She admires him from the bottom of her heart. So, I think they really have a chance. Third brother doesn't like people like Ren, who are ordinary and have no experience. But Secretary Ren has always been with him in his career, supporting each other. He shouldn't be able to resist this type of person, right? Unable to retort, Sheng Xiao could only shake his head. Soon the two of them arrived at the agreed place. However, what was surprising was that Sheng Bowen had not arrived yet. He even let Secretary Ren sit alone in her seat and wait. "Chief Sheng, Miss Mu. Since you're not in the company, don't be so restrained." Mu Qiqi sat down beside Ren Yufei. This girl was really beautiful. No wonder Sheng Kai had chosen her to seduce Sheng Bowen. But our identities are different. Before the three of them could chat for a while, Sheng Bowen finally arrived at the hotel. When he saw that Ren Yufei had also arrived, he seemed a little more reserved. "Oh, have you ordered? You guys drink your wine." I felt that I had a good impression of Secretary Ren, so I chatted for a while. Mu Qiqi took the initiative to ease the awkwardness between them. "Don't be so stiff. After your CEO comes out, he's just an ordinary man. He also needs to eat, drink, and go to the bathroom. You were the one who called him out. Of course, you have to be responsible for taking care of him." Sheng Bowen threw the responsibility away. Mu Qiqi did not take it. In any case, she had plenty of ways to deal with this loyal dog. "Secretary Ren, you should be a little older than me. I'll call you Sister Yufei." "Miss Mu, I'm afraid that's not a good idea. You're single now, right? In the future, come out often and see your CEO's rotten life after work." Sheng Bowen drank a glass of red wine and relaxed a little. He did not take Mu Qiqi's bait. "Who cares about you?" Seeing this, Secretary Ren also laughed. "I thought that the CEO treats everyone equally. It turns out that there are also those who are close and those who are distant." However, when she thought that Sheng Bowen was already married, her expression became a little gloomy. "That's right. In front of those who are close to him, he has no image at all." Mu Qiqi carefully observed Ren Yufei's expression and knew that she was very hesitant and evasive. After all, in the eyes of outsiders, Sheng Bowen was now a married man. This also proved that Ren Yufei was really kind-hearted. If it were those who had evil thoughts, they would not really care whether you had a family or not. She had heard a lot about secretaries rising to the top. Then the relationship between the CEO and his wife should be very good. After all, the CEO has a very good temper. That's hard to say. Mu Qiqi did not intend to reveal the answer during the meal. "Xiaoqi, I want to toast you for today's matter. The person I admire the most in my heart now has changed from eighth brother to you. Because now you're the person who can even control eighth brother." Mu Qiqi turned around to look at Xing Zhao's expression. When she saw that the man was not angry, she smiled. "That's right." However, Xing Xiao still snorted at the two of them at the right time. "Eighth brother, don't be unconvinced. Do you think that Xiaoqi has the final say in your family? Have you ever heard of butterflies in the stomach? Xiaoqi is on top of you, which is in accordance with the law." Ahem, Mu Qiqi's expression became a little unnatural. "What do you mean by being on top of me? Why does it sound so erotic?" "Alright, cheers." Mu Qiqi quickly poured wine into his mouth. Secretary Ren was also sitting at the side. Her face was red because she had seen Sheng Bowen many times, but she had never seen him drunk. Tonight, Mu Qiqi had really broadened her horizons. Actually, did Mu Qiqi care about this meal? Of course, it was to create an opportunity for the two of them to strike while the iron was hot. Throughout the meal, Mu Qiqi kept pouring wine into Sheng Bowen's mouth. However, he was so happy that he was willing to drink. In the end, he directly collapsed on the table, shocking the three of them. Third brother's alcohol tolerance is at its limit. Mu Qiqi looked at Xing Xiao. She had been tricking Xing Bowen the whole time. She did not drink a single drop of wine. All she drank was grape juice. Then Miss Mu, please call Madam and ask her to come and pick up the CO. Send him back, Mu Qiqi said directly. Chapter 660. There's nothing to misunderstand. He's already divorced. Mu Qiqi gave this answer when everyone was about to go home, especially when Xing Bowen was already drunk. If he were sober, this would be so awkward. Ren Yufei was stunned. She obviously couldn't believe it. She must have many questions in her heart. She also understood that Mu Qiqi was doing this to create an opportunity for her. It was very likely that she already knew what she was thinking. However, the more this was the case, the more she didn't want to be the one who took advantage of the situation. Even though she had been sent to seduce Xing Bowen, take good care of him. We'll be leaving first. Ren Yufei did not reject Mu Qiqi's good intentions, but she did not want to leave an image of a scheming woman in front of Xing Bowen. Therefore, she gave the waiter a tip and the Xing family's address and asked the waiter to send Xing Bowen back safely. After returning to the banyan courtyard, Mu Qiqi placed her body in the warm bathtub. She thought to herself that the human heart was really subtle. Soon Xing Xiao entered the bathroom. He took off his black nightgown and followed her into the bathtub. Then he held Mu Qiqi in his arms. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking about Secretary Ren. I wonder if she sent third brother home. If it were me, I would definitely have selfish motives. Thinking about how hard it was to have a crush on you back then, if I were given such a chance, I would definitely bring you back to my house and take a good look at you. Xing Xiao closed his eyes and did not look at her at all. He only said slowly, she asked the waiter to send third brother home. Mu Qiqi, such a good opportunity had been wasted just like that. However, while Mu Qiqi was clicking her tongue, she also sighed from the bottom of her heart. Actually, Xing Kai had chosen a very decent person to be his spy. Don't do this kind of thing again. I don't like it. Mu Qiqi was still in a daze when she heard that. She turned her head to look at him. Alright, I won't do it anymore. I'll just keep my eyes on you. I won't look anywhere else, okay? Xing Xiao did not say anything. His right hand gently stroked Mu Qiqi's head, making her feel sleepy. Mu Qiqi yawned and fell asleep on the man's chest in the bathtub. Anyway, when she woke up the next day, she would definitely be in bed. Late at night, when everyone was sleeping soundly, the employee of Huang Yao who was being chased by the police had been brought back to the police station in Jianchuan and would be interrogated overnight. Why would a girl, a dignified customer service representative, take the risk out of desperation and commit a crime? The girl did not panic. After she was arrested, she remained silent. She only made one request to the police. She wanted to see her family. Because as long as her brother was saved, it meant that the person had kept his word and she would not expose him. Also, did Xing Bowen think that this matter was over? In fact, this was just the beginning of Xing Kai's revenge. After all, it was old Xing's birthday in March. As his grandson, he should learn from eighth brother and send him a birthday gift. The next day, Xing Bowen woke up from his big bed at home. When he thought about how he was forced to drink by Xiao Qi and how he had embarrassed himself in front of Secretary Ren, he suddenly felt his ears burning and couldn't help but blush. He didn't know who sent him back, but after he got drunk, he fell asleep. During breakfast, old Master Sheng looked at Xing Bowen with a strange gaze. I heard from eighth brother that you brought your secretary to dinner last night? Qiqi asked me to bring her, Xing Bowen explained. However, from the old man's point of view, it was only because the little girl had seen through something that she would let the secretary attend a private dinner. Wasn't that obvious enough? If the secretary's family background is clean, bring her back to take a look. I'm very relieved to be able to take care of you in your career and life. Xing Bowen finally understood why Mu Qiqi had to drag Secretary Ren out last night. It turned out that she had such a plan. Grandpa, I just treat her as a secretary. Don't think too much. Alright, I was just saying. You should go to work. Old Master Sheng could see how slow Xing Bowen was in this aspect. It was no wonder that there were no sparks when he lived with Hu Ran. He had never thought about what it would be like to hug a woman and be intimate with her. Xing Bowen was very helpless, especially when the other members of the Sheng family looked at him as if he was having an affair with his secretary. Eighth brother is such a blabbermouth. Do you really have to explain everything in detail to the old man? Therefore, on the way to work, Xing Bowen called Xing Xiao. Eighth brother, Since when did you and Grandpa have such a good relationship that you can gossip about me? My woman is worried about your marriage. What do you think? In other words, Xing Xiao felt that he was in the way. Are really black-bellied and sinister as always. Sheng Bowen hung up the phone and went to Huang Yao. When he saw Ren Yufei, he should have been embarrassed. However, Ren Yufei pretended that nothing had happened. She just pointed at the conference room and said, "The police are here." In that case, the person had been brought back. Coincidentally, he also wanted to know why there were still people who would repay kindness with enmity. Huang Yao had never treated its employees badly, especially after he took office. In the morning it was rainy. A large group of people from the Yi family had come, all for the sake of making Mu Tangxue dazzling at the engagement ceremony. What happened in Huang Yao this time had made Mu Qiqi shine again. So, Yi Jingqing had to spend more energy and money on Mu Tangxue. He wanted to let the world know that Mu Tangxue was the noble goddess and Mu Qiqi could never be seen in public. Mama Yi sat in the living room with a gloomy face. After she was slapped by Yi Jingqing, she knew that Mu Tangxue was not as simple as she thought. So she could not act rashly. Mu Tangxue knew that she was holding back. So, she was always stepping on Mama Ye's bottom line. Especially when there was no one in the living room, she deliberately put on the pigeon egg Yi Jingqing bought for her and showed it off in front of Mama Yi. I knew it. Brother Jingqing really loves me. I said I wanted this diamond and he did everything he could to get it for me. Auntie, I really want to thank you for saving me from the slums. Don't be too happy. Mama Yi snorted. You should know that it's easy to get karma when one is too happy. I think this sentence is more suitable for your entire family. After that, Mu Tangxue smiled. I'm going to ask Brother Jingqing for his shares tonight. Auntie, aren't you going to stop me? Chapter 661. You've touched my things but you've never asked me. Mu Tangxue sneered. She raised the pigeon egg between her fingers and admired it for a while before returning to her room. Why would she care about this now? She just wanted to make this family suffer. Yi Jingqing would never let her go and she would never let him go either. So, evil people should torture each other like this. Mama Yi saw Mu Tangshue's smug expression. She could not wait to tear Mu Tangshue's mouth apart. But she knew it was exactly what Mu Tangxue wanted. She was not that stupid. However, she would never agree to let such a jinx marry into the family. Even if her son was not on her side, she still had her husband. A grand engagement ceremony? That would depend on whether it could be held smoothly. Wasn't Mu Qiqi, the little bitch's elder sister, at loggerheads with her? She did not know if Mu Qiqi was willing to help her deal with this little bitch. After the incident at Huang Yao, Mu Qiqi could finally return to the forensics laboratory. But when she returned to the police station, she found that everyone was out on duty. There was another murder case. Mu Qiqi took out her phone and called Feng Shanshan. She thought it was fine this time. After all, she had rested for a few days. Where are you? Why didn't you tell me about the case? In a building in the city. Feng Shanshan said while vomiting. It's so disgusting, give me the address. I'll come over now. I think you're the only one who can be as steady as a mountain and help the professor. After saying that, Feng Shanshan gave him the address. Mu Qiqi received the address and rushed to the crime scene. However, the scene was too spectacular. Now, only Tang Yin and the professor's expressions did not change. Of course, after Mu Qiqi came, there would be another Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi arrived at the scene in 20 minutes. But when she was downstairs, she could already smell the stench of a corpse. The police saw Mu Qiqi entering the cordon and quickly stopped her. Mu Qiqi quickly took out her ID, but the police recognized her. You are Mu Qiqi. Go in. Was she already so famous? Mu Qiqi shook her head and went straight to the 6th floor. She saw a group of people covering their noses at the door, and there were several lumps of filth at their feet. It seemed to be a big case. Xiaoqi, you're finally here. When the group of senior brothers saw her, they quickly made way and said, Shanshan has been vomiting inside, so we can only vomit along with her. Hurry up and help the professor. Mu Qiqi was pushed through the door and was left dumbfounded. In the huge living room, there were actually 4 corpses lying on the ground. The giant phenomenon was obvious, and 2 of the corpses had internal organs scattered on the ground, mixed with some green. It looked colorful and spectacular. No wonder this group of people vomited so exaggeratedly. He looked at Mu Qiqi again. She was really calm. Feng Shanshan quickly grabbed her and said, Hurry up and help, I can't stay here any longer. Mu Qiqi took over Feng Shanshan's work, and then Feng Shanshan went to Tang Yin. I'll help you. The deceased is a male between 18 to 20 years old and between 1.6 to 1.65 meters tall. The time of death is estimated to be about 15 days ago. There are no obvious injuries on the body, and according to the secretions in the nasal cavity and mouth, the cause of death is poisoning. As for the specific type of poison, we need to go through detailed tests and further dissection. This one should be a disembowelment, and the murder weapon is a very sharp dagger. It directly pierced the victim's abdomen from the left side, and then left a wound that is about 15 centimeters long on the right side. The process of examining the corpses this time was extremely difficult, because each of the 4 people died in a different way, even though they looked so young. The 6 forensic doctors spent almost an hour sorting out the things at the first scene. At the door, the police were questioning the informant. "Officer, I am the landlord of this house and I rented it to one of the children. But he is already 18 years old and he is working outside to earn his living expenses. This child looks quite honest. He has been living here for more than a year, and there is nothing wrong with him. He pays the rent every 3 months. This time, it's because I received a complaint from the neighbors. They said that there are always some strange insects climbing in front of my house, and the house is getting more and more smelly. I had no choice but to get someone to unlock the door, but I didn't expect to see such a scene. Officer, don't you think I'm wronged? Who would dare to rent this place in the future?" Mu Chichi and the others were helpless when they heard the landlord's words. After all, he was really innocent. After the forensic doctors finished their work, they returned to the police station. Because it was a major case, the police in the district felt that they could not solve the case within a time limit, so they went to the criminal investigation team and asked to take over. Tang Yin, of course, did not say anything. After all, as long as it was a case, he did not care about whether it was serious or not. The group of people rushed back to the police station. There were 4 dead bodies. This time it was really enough to make the forensic doctors busy. But at this time Mama Yi actually came to the police station. "Chichi, someone is looking for you." Mu Chichi had just placed the bodies on the dissection table with the professor. When she was about to start working, she heard that someone was looking for her. She immediately took off her gloves and sterile clothes and went to the hall of the police station. "Who is it?" "That lady." Mu Chichi looked in the direction where her senior was pointing and saw Mama Yi with a face full of disdain. "That's true. A lady from a wealthy family would definitely get lice if she lowered herself to this kind of place. Madam Yi, are you looking for me?" When Mama Yi saw Mu Chichi approaching, she quickly covered her nose. "You have a very strong smell." "I'm dissecting. Of course I smell. Madam Yi came to me without telling me. I don't have time to take a shower and change my clothes," Mu Chichi said coldly and put her hands in her clothes. "Do you want to tell me?" Mama Yi was also convinced by this pair of sisters. The elder sister did not want to be a rich lady, but had to do this dirty, smelly and dirty job that dealt with corpses. What about the younger sister? She had the heart of a snake and a scorpion. Every day she would bewitch other people's sons to achieve her own goals. They were really a pair of weirdos. Mu Chichi knew that Mama Ye's visit would not be a good thing. The biggest possibility was that Mu Tongxue and Yi Jingqing were going to hold their engagement ceremony a few days later. It was useless to oppose Mu Tongxue. So they wanted her, Mu Tongxue's enemy, to join them. However, these people probably thought that it was easier to find the police station and meet her. She really needed to greet her seniors in the future. Chapter 662. Mama Yi took out a tissue in disgust and covered her mouth. Then she took a few steps away from Mu Chichi and said, "I know you don't get along with your sister. She has caused you so much trouble. You should want her to live a life worse than death. Now this little bitch is getting engaged to my son. She might live a better life than you in the future. Are you really convinced? I came here today to ask if you are willing to work with me to get your sister out of the country. Let her leave our sight and never disgust us again." Mu Chichi looked up at Mama Yi seriously. "You used to be on good terms with the Mu family and treated Mu Tongxue as your daughter-in-law. But your attitude towards her has changed so much in such a short time. Whatever you say, I just want her to get out of my sight. Far away. It's best if she dies a horrible death." Recalling Mama Ye's love for Mu Tongxue and the adjectives she used on Mu Tongxue today, Mu Chichi thought that this world was really realistic and ironic. First of all, she can't be more famous than me. Because the Yi family is just a small family. You can barely make it into the top 100 in Zhenchuan. Just because you have the right to talk to me doesn't mean that we are on the same level. Secondly, Mu Tongxue and the Yi family love to kill each other. Why should I interfere? I can't wait for her to turn the Yi family upside down. Madam Yi, don't forget how your son treated me when I was young. Lastly, don't come to the police station next time. This is a place to punish evil, not a vegetable market. I'm not someone you can see whenever you want. Don't you know who I am? Alright, I still have work to do. You can do as you please, Madam Yi. Having said that, Mu Chichi immediately turned around. She was really tired of wasting time on these irrelevant people. No, it was not irrelevant. It was disgusting. You and your sister will die a horrible death sooner or later. This is my curse to you too. When Mama Yi left, she shouted at Mu Chichi's figure. Many policemen in the hall heard it and all agreed that Mama Yi was very vicious. I really don't understand the world of these rich people. However, no matter what, I will stand on Xiao Qi's side because our entire branch knows what kind of person Xiao Qi is. When Mu Chichi passed by, she heard her seniors whispering to each other. She just smiled and said, "Then I really have to thank you." Yi Mu returned without success, completely beyond her expectation. There was no doubt that Mu Chichi hated Mu Tongxue. But why wouldn't she cooperate with her? It was clearly the best time to deal with Mu Tongxue. Even so, even if there was a deep grudge between Mu Chichi and Mu Tongxue, she wouldn't help an outsider against her own sister, would she? Especially since the Yi family was not innocent. Soon Mu Chichi returned to the lab. Meanwhile, the others were busy examining the corpse. Of the 4 victims, 1 died of potassium cyanide poisoning, 1 was stabbed to death, 1 was electrocuted to death, and the last one was hacked to death. The 4 of them died in different ways, and according to the current state and characteristics of the corpses, the conclusion is that the 4 of them died at almost the same time. You've all been inside the crime scene. What do you think now? The professor asked the others. Mu Chichi thought about it and answered, "For people dying at the same time sounds like a vicious murder case, but that's not actually the case. 4 people died in 4 different ways at the same time, and that alone doesn't fit the characteristics of homicide. Isn't it too complicated if there was only 1 murderer? Moreover, how could 1 murderer kill the victims in 4 different ways at the same time? Let's assume that there were 2 or more murderers, but there were no traces of anyone else in the house. There were no extra footprints, clothing fibers or fingerprints, let alone signs of a struggle. How could such a huge case with so many people be cleaned up so cleanly? Most importantly, the murder weapons were all at the crime scene. That's why I have a bold hypothesis that you all already know. These 4 people either committed suicide at the same time or killed each other. According to the distribution of the corpses, the one who was stabbed to death and the one who was hacked to death should have been facing each other before they died. As for the other 2, one was lying on the sofa, poisoned by potassium cyanide, while the other was electrocuted and sitting on the floor. They must have planned this beforehand. Group suicide. The professor nodded. You're right. The DNA on the murder weapons has been tested. We'll get the answer soon if it's as you guessed. What we need to do now is to confirm the source of the corpses. Why would 17 or 18-year-old kids commit suicide together? Of course, the rest was up to Tang Yen. So, Tang Yen took off his gloves and left the autopsy room. Feng Shanshan could not help but sigh. They're at such a good age, but they chose such an extreme way to end their lives. What kind of things did they go through to give them the courage to die? Who knows? Nowadays, young people's psychological endurance and ability to resist pressure are really far inferior to their predecessors. No matter what, if you have something unhappy in your heart, you must release it in time, especially you, Shanshan. I remember that you and Tang Yen are neighbors. If you have anything that you can't get over, remember to look for Tang Yen. That kid is also good at psychological counseling. Feng Shanshan was stunned. She could not help but snort coldly in her heart. I'm afraid you don't know your nephew at all. Alright, that's all for now. Hurry up and change. Then Mu Chichi and Feng Shanshan went to the changing room. At this time, Mu Chichi smiled at Feng Shanshan. Haven't you told anyone about you and Captain Tang? With his personality, he's always on the front line. Even 10 bulls can't hold him back. What's the point of telling others? Feng Shanshan asked. I wouldn't be surprised if he suddenly disappears one day. What can I do? I can only smile at life. You're not sad? Don't forget about Dai Shi, who didn't even sleep for Captain Tang. Don't mention it. I'm still angry. Chapter 663. Why did the man from the Yi family look for you? He asked me to talk to Mu Tongxue. Feng Shanshan looked at Mu Chichi and shook her head. These rich families are really strange. The Sheng family is like that and so is the Yi family. Are these people unable to live the life of the rich? They have nothing to do every day and they don't contribute anything to society. And they're always looking for trouble. If you ask me, who should I ask? Mu Chichi rolled her eyes. I don't care about the matter between the Yi family and Mu Tongxue. To put it bluntly, it's just a dog-eat-dog plot. But I'm going to Mu Tongshua's engagement next week. Since there's a good show, of course I'm willing to go. Feng Shanshan thought that sometimes being born into a rich family was not as good as being like her. She had some spare money and was free. It was really boring to plot against each other every day. Soon, the field personnel screened the identities of the deceased and found that they had one thing in common. Their family conditions were very poor. However, they came from different places and their family backgrounds were not exactly the same. There must be a reason why these 4 people from different places gathered together. Now, everyone's mission is to investigate the detailed information of these 4 people, from their family background to their social connections, as well as their interpersonal relationships. Everything must be clear. Of course, after Tang Yan assigned the task, he also walked to the entrance of the branch office. However, when he turned around and saw Feng Shanshan, he turned back and walked to her. Wait for me at the station tonight. Let's have dinner together. I'm very tired. I want to go home and rest. It's the professor's birthday today. After saying this, Tang Yan left quickly. However, Feng Shanshan, who was left behind, was confused. Did he mean that he wanted to bring her to dinner because it was the professor's birthday? Was that what he meant? His parents were not around. So, the professor was his only family now. Since he wanted to bring her to dinner, did that mean that she was meeting his parents? But why should she meet his parents? Should she meet him just because he said so? In fact, Tang Yan was outside the autopsy room just now. He heard the conversation between the 2 girls, especially Feng Shanshan's words. If he suddenly disappears one day, I won't be surprised at all. He knew that he couldn't give people a sense of security, and he also knew that Feng Shanshan's elegance was all an act. However, he would not simply disappear. At least, after meeting Feng Shanshan, he cherished his life more than before. Mu Chichi saw Feng Shanshan standing awkwardly at the door of the laboratory and leaned on her shoulder. Since he's taking you to meet his parents, it means that Captain Tang is very serious about you. What are you still worried about? I just feel that it's too sudden. This doesn't match Tang Yan's style of doing things. It makes me very uneasy. Most importantly, although the 2 of them slept together, she did not know Tang Yan at all. Everything she knew about him came from piecing together all sorts of information. Especially from the professor. She didn't even know him, but she wanted to meet his parents? She couldn't do it. Looking at you, you don't seem too willing? Feng Shanshan didn't say anything. She was really unwilling. At least, before Tang Yan told her about the past, she didn't want to be fixed. Therefore, when Tang Yan returned to the police station in the evening, he did not see Feng Shanshan. What are you looking for? The professor saw his outstanding expression and quickly asked. Where's Feng Shanshan? This girl is tired. She went home, the professor said. According to the usual practice, shouldn't you have dinner with me tonight? I want to have dinner with you, but now there's one less person. Let's go to my house. I know Aunt is still abroad and can't accompany you for your birthday. Okay, wait for me to change. Actually, the professor really wanted to persuade Tang Yan to move out of this graveyard because he didn't want his ex-girlfriend's matter to affect Tang Yan's life. However, when the off-road vehicle arrived at the entrance of the courtyard, the professor was surprised. Your place? My place has been sealed now. It's just a studio now, but I rarely go in. Then where do you live? Tang Yan pointed at the light next door. There was a garden in the courtyard, and there were reclining chairs on the lawn. The professor followed behind Tang Yan in confusion. He took out the key and opened the door. Then everyone was stunned at the same time. In the living room, Feng Shanshan was sitting on the sofa eating snacks. In fact, her brain was still stuck. You guys, we're living together, Tang Yan explained to the professor. Then he turned to Feng Shanshan and said, Shanshan, make some tea. Feng Shanshan was stunned for a moment and quickly gave up her seat. She didn't expect Tang Yan to bring the professor to his house when she ran away from the police station. Speaking of which, she was really angry. Did she agree to it? When did this happen? The professor still couldn't suppress his surprised expression. It's been a while. I just didn't tell you, Tang Yan said directly. No wonder she was so nervous when you were injured. She wanted to help you teach Dai Shi a lesson when you were sent to the front line. The professor suddenly understood. You 2 kids usually don't say anything. Since you're together, then so be it. Why can't you talk about it? This is a good thing. It's not convenient in the police station. We still have to do business. Feng Shanshan listened to their conversation. She made some tea in the kitchen and brought it to them. Oh, I know it's the professor's birthday today. Sit down first. I'll make a few dishes. You can talk while you eat. I didn't know that you're good at cooking, little girl. The professor laughed. I just know some home-cooked dishes. Feng Shanshan quickly left after saying that. Since you're already with the little girl, you should let go of the things that happened in the past. You don't have to work so hard in everything. If you get hurt like last time, who would be able to bear it? This little girl is also alone. She has no one to rely on. Don't let her worry about you every day when she just got a lover. Uncle, I'm going to get married, Tang Yen suddenly said. The professor was stunned because Tang Yen had had girlfriends before. The last one was even unforgettable. However, he had never told him so formally that he had plans to get married. When she's of age. It looks like you're tempted. That's good. The professor thought about it and his eyes turned red. If your father was still alive, he would be so happy to know that you're finally getting married. Chapter 664. If you really have the determination to protect her, don't be like before, risking your life for the sake of investigating cases. Make more friends and don't be so lonely. With your ability, if it weren't for your quiet personality, you wouldn't have been a mere captain a long time ago, and you wouldn't be a third-level superintendent. Tang Yen, remember, protecting the country is a responsibility, and protecting the family is also a responsibility. If you can't even protect your wife, how can the people of the country put their lives in your hands? Think about it yourself. While Feng Shanshan was cooking, the uncle and nephew chatted in the living room. Soon, Feng Shanshan brought the food to the table. They're all very home-cooked dishes. Don't mind them, Professor. I'm lucky to be able to eat the dishes cooked by my niece-in-law. I thought I would never see this kid have a girlfriend again in my life. The professor picked up his chopsticks happily and tasted every dish. Feng Shanshan looked at Tang Yen and did not say anything. After the professor left, she would settle the score. Looks like I'll have to come here more often in the future. The professor ate very happily. He stayed in Feng Shanshan and Tang Yan's house until late at night before leaving in satisfaction. This was probably the happiest birthday he had in recent years because he finally had an answer to Tang Yan's father. However, the moment the professor left, Feng Shanshan started to make things difficult for Tang Yan. Did you get my permission to bring the professor back just like that? I thought you would be very happy with our relationship. Feng Shanshan crossed her arms and turned to look at Tang Yan. Which eye of yours sees that I'm happy? Tang Yan did not say anything. He turned around and was about to return to the bedroom. However, Feng Shanshan felt a sense of guilt, as if she had bullied her little wife. So she stopped Tang Yan. When are you going to tell me about your past? I don't mind that you have countless girlfriends. I just want to know what you've been through in the past. I don't want to be forced to accept it when things happen. Tang Yan, you're willing to let me see the professor, but you're not willing to tell me about your past. Tang Yen looked up and stared into Feng Shanshan's eyes. He sighed. Sit down. When Feng Shanshan heard that Tang Yen seemed to have compromised, she quickly went around to the sofa and sat down. Let me say this first. If you feel uncomfortable after listening to me, you can't break up with me. Tang Yen also sat on the sofa. He placed his hands on his thighs and interlaced his fingers. I've been living alone since I was 10, so I became very antisocial and liked to get into fights. When I was 15 or 16, I got into a fight outside and was sent to the juvenile detention center. I was locked up for 8 months. It was also in the juvenile detention center that I became enemies with a very famous gangster. He swore that once he got out, he would kill me for revenge. So, as soon as I left the juvenile detention center, my uncle forced me to go to the police academy because it was safer there. I got into the police academy, but I still couldn't control my temper. I got into a fight with a colleague and got a major demerit. I was almost fired. It was the gangster who threatened me who changed my life. He stabbed me and I was hospitalized for 3 months. From then on, I kept my temper in check. Because I was good in all aspects, I was chosen to be an undercover agent. It was a drug gang, and it was a gang with a lot of gunpowder. I spent a year to gain the trust of the boss and followed him as his second in command. Later, I released important information and cooperated with my colleagues in the police force. Finally, we destroyed the gang, but my identity was also leaked. In the first few years, my enemies were hunting me. I hid everywhere and often went to the front line to help with some important cases. It was only when my enemies were caught one after another that I finally had peace. But perhaps it's because I'm used to this uniform, this job, and I've seen the great good and the great evil in the world. That's why I'm on the front lines. Because I've seen the various methods of those criminals. I think that people like me are born to deal with those vicious people, because I feel that I'm actually the same kind of person as them. Women, I don't avoid my casual side at all. Since I was a teenager, I have never stopped being with them. But I don't play games with relationships, so most of the time I end on good terms. What about the previous one? Feng Shanshan felt that she did not mind that Tang Yen had never stopped being with her, but she cared about his previous one. Because in her subconscious she felt that this previous one was the person who had the greatest influence on Tang Yen. Especially after the previous one passed away, he did not look for a woman for 2 to 3 years. The previous one was a university student who did research. She said that she liked the male hormones I exuded, so she chased after me for 8 months. I agreed, but I did not have extra time to accompany her, so she complained more and more and became more and more dissatisfied. We did not spend a long time together. The real time we spent together was less than a month. Because I always disappeared for a few days, she could not stand it anymore and had an affair with another man. After I found out, we broke up peacefully. But later she came back to find me. Because she was seriously ill, I kept her by my side to fulfill my duty. In the end, I sent her away and found a grave to erect a tombstone for her. After that, I met you. Is she a special existence to you? Tang Yen shook his head. She's the same as before. There's no difference. Then why was there 2 years between you? Or should I say, am I also one of them? Feng Shanshan, when you've been locked in a small dark room for a month, thrown into the mountains for 3 months without any help, and fought with drug dealers every day, you'll know that as a spy your heart must be hardened. I admit that perhaps the way I look at women is no different from how I look at other things, because I feel that only life is precious in this world. But you jumped out of the stereotype of a woman and injected a few drops of fresh blood into my already dead heart. After hearing this, Feng Shanshan was very touched. She moved her throat. Muchichi is also very special. But I am not interested in other people's things. Most importantly, I see the shadow of my past in you. Chapter 665. In fact, Feng Shanshan's feelings were really complicated. She also understood why Tang Yen was so quiet and taciturn. It was because he had seen through all the truth and hypocrisy in this world. He had experienced pain and torture that others could not feel. How could such a person be affected by the little things in life? To him, solving cases was the only value in living. But it was also because of this that Feng Shanshan was extremely obsessed with him. This man was a hero in her heart. She had an indescribable sense of worship for him, although she had never said it out loud. However, Tang Yen had already shown her his past. What about herself? Should she continue to hide the fact that she had hid a child for that scumbag? I've already gotten the answer I want. Why should I stop? Feng Shanshan asked Tang Yen in return. It wasn't easy for me to find a man that I'm crazy about. Why should I let go? It's just that there are some things that I want to tell you in advance. After all, I don't want those things to be dug out in the future and stabbed into each other's hearts. If you mind, then I don't mind, Tang Yen answered directly. Do you know what I'm going to say? I know. Tang Yen summarized it with 3 words and placed his gaze on Feng Shanshan's abdomen. His meaning was self-evident. Feng Shanshan was stunned. She did not expect him to even know this. Do you really not mind, or are you pretending? Do you still want to talk about it in the future? After hearing Feng Shanshan's words, Tang Yen took off his shirt and revealed the scars on his body. Do you think I care about my body that much? Feng Shanshan did not say anything. After a long while she smiled and said, then let's get along like this. I don't ask for a romantic life. I just want you to be alive. I don't need you to take care of me. I just want you to be by my side. You do your job as a criminal police officer, and I'll do my job as a forensic doctor. There's only one thing. If we can have a child in the future, I hope that you can be by my side when I give birth. Do you understand? Tang Yen did not just understand. Long-term training had made his hearing very good. However, if he used words to answer at this moment, it would seem a little too shallow. So, Tang Yen carried Feng Shanshan from the sofa and walked quickly to the bedroom. Once he made up his mind, he would not change it. Even if he died, he would not let go. The next day, the mass suicide of the 4 youths attracted a lot of attention from the outside world, and all kinds of discussions followed. Some said that they had been brainwashed, some said that they had encountered evil spirits, and there were all kinds of rumors in the streets. The police were currently conducting an investigation, but the chief requested that the case be closed as a suicide as soon as possible. After all, they could not make the public panic. Since it wasn't a homicide, there was no need for the Special Investigation Unit to take action. The police in the district could handle it. Tang Yen was ordered to hand over the case, and he had to obey the order. So, the case was soon taken over by someone. The people in the police station instantly became idle. Although everyone wanted to know why these young people would make such an extreme choice, it was impossible for them to do so. He had never thought that there would be a follow-up to this matter. Soon, it was time for Mu Tongxue and Yi Jingqing's engagement. The rich circles were also talking about Mu Qiqi and Mu Tongxue. The sisters had been entangled for some time, but in the end they had each married off to a rich family. Still, would Mu Qiqi attend Mu Tongxue's engagement ceremony? There was no doubt that Mu Qiqi would go. After all, she still wanted to watch the drama between Mu Tongxue and Yi Jingqing. The two of them had left such a huge shadow in her childhood. Now that it was a dog-eat-dog time, how could she not go and watch the drama? However, Mu Qiqi knew very well that the reason Mu Tongxue took such a dangerous step was to take revenge for Mr. Liu. But even if the news of her engagement was spread everywhere, Mr. Liu would not show any concern for her. That morning, Mu Qiqi got up to take care of herself. She saw the man behind her putting on his shirt. She immediately walked over and helped him tidy his shirt. Is Mr. Liu getting used to Zhongting? I think so, Xing Xiao replied calmly. He is quite calm. He seems to be having a good time. Although you don't want to admit it, you are still feeling sorry for Mu Tongxue. Xing Xiao lifted her chin and looked into her eyes. Even if Mu Tongxue is so hateful and deserves to die. If it's someone else, I will be the same even if it's not Mu Tongxue, said Mu Qiqi. Can you come home early in the morning and pick me up? Since you are going to watch the drama, you should go to the wedding earlier. 10 o'clock sharp. Xing Xiao pinched the bridge of Mu Qiqi's nose and walked out of their bedroom. Mu Qiqi watched Xing Xiao leave. She hoped that the drama today would be more exciting than the investigation. Otherwise, it would be a waste of her precious time. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. The guests of the Yi family had started to appear on the lawn of Xingye Hotel. After all, it was the engagement day of young Master Yi and Mu Tongxue. But Yi Jingqing's parents did not come out to welcome the guests. They were still sulking at home. Yi Jingqing was wearing a blue suit. When he went downstairs, he looked at his parents. Dad, Mom, it's my engagement today. Can you give me some face? Mama Yi snorted. Papa Yi did not want to go out and embarrass himself. He waved his hand. You go alone. We won't go. How can I not go? Yi Jingqing's voice had a hint of danger. If you don't go, I will mess around with Yi Holdings. How dare you? I've given all my shares to Mu Tongxue. What do you think I won't dare to do? Yi Jingqing's parents were threatened by their own son, but they could do nothing about it. They could only say, you go first. We'll go and change our clothes. Hurry up. After that, Yi Jingqing went upstairs excitedly to fetch Mu Tongxue. Then they went downstairs together. But what about Mr. and Mrs. Yi? They were fuming. Hubby, what should we do now? We have to think of a way. It will be too late if they get engaged. Let me think, Papa Yi said. He paced back and forth in the living room anxiously. This unfilial son is not afraid of being kicked out of the board of directors. He doesn't care about us at all. I want to cut off our relationship as father and son. What about Mama Yi? She looked at the red wine bottle on the table. There was no hurry. There was still room for redemption. But to be honest, how many people would go to the engagement ceremony to give their blessings sincerely? Weren't they there to watch the drama or laugh at the joke? Chapter 666. Papa Yi and Mama Yi went to their son's engagement party in ordinary attire. Mama Yi was even dressed in a solemn black outfit. It was not an exaggeration to say that she was going to attend a funeral. There was not the slightest hint of joy on the faces of the two old men. Their faces were filled with unwillingness. How was this a wedding? It was clearly a funeral. Thinking about it, Yi Jingqing was really pitiful. In this engagement banquet, other than him, the other three people probably had their own thoughts in mind. But soon, the huge lawn of the hotel was filled with guests. What surprised Yi Jingqing even more was that Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao really came. Xing Xiao was wearing a brown coat with a gray suit underneath. He still looked like a dignified CEO. Holding Mu Qiqi, who was also wearing a beige coat, they walked to Yi Jingqing. I didn't expect Chief Sheng to come. It's really an honor for Yi Holdings. Zhongting was a military enterprise. The power behind it was mysterious and shocking. In the past year, Xing Xiao had quickly built this huge kingdom in Jianchuan with the most ruthless methods. So, it was indisputable that he was the youngest tycoon in Jianchuan. Yi Jingqing thought that Xing Xiao was disdainful. At least, to Zhongting, Yi Holdings was just an egg that would break with a light touch. My wife wants to watch the show. I have to satisfy her curiosity. Xing Xiao's answer was quite wicked. There was a hint of mockery and danger in his eyes. Yi Jingqing chuckled and said calmly, "Chief Sheng, please. I will let you have a feast for your eyes later." Mu Qiqi held Xing Xiao's arm and looked up at Yi Jingqing. At this moment, Yi Jingqing was beaming with joy. She wondered how Mu Tongxue would make him pay later. "Let's go." Xing Xiao brought Mu Qiqi into the hotel. But Mu Qiqi thought of how he described her just now. "How did I become your wife? If you are not my wife, who is?" Xing Xiao smiled. It was obvious that he was in a good mood. Mu Tongxue was dressing up in the bride's lounge upstairs. It was not her turn yet, so she let the makeup artist skillfully apply makeup on her face. She was going to be the most beautiful bride for Yi Jingqing later. In the past, she had imagined countless times in her mind that if she was lucky enough to marry Mr. Liu, she would look very beautiful in this white dress. But now she was going to marry her enemy. "Miss Mu, raise your head a little. We're going to wear the crown. There's no need to go through all that trouble." "This is fine," Mu Tongxue said flatly. The makeup artist looked at the accessory in her hand and finally nodded. "Okay, I'll put the crown away." Soon, a waiter brought warm water to the guests in the lounge and a glass for Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue looked at the colorless, odorless, transparent liquid, and her lips curled into a faint sneer. "You guys go out first. Let me calm down for a while." "All right, we'll come in and call you when the ceremony is about to begin." After they left, the lounge suddenly became quiet. Mu Tongxue sat in front of the mirror and suddenly felt that the person in the mirror was so strange that she almost couldn't recognize him. A good show was about to begin. Soon, the ceremony was about to begin. Yi Jingqing looked at his wristwatch and walked to the bride's lounge. But at this moment, Yi Jingqing suddenly heard moaning coming from the room. He frowned and opened the door to the lounge, only to find his bride, Mu Tongxue, making love on the bed with a waiter from the hotel. Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue suddenly woke up. She grabbed the blanket and covered her body. But the red stain on the bed made Yi Jingqing's eyes turn scarlet. The waiter was probably frightened by Yi Jingqing's anger, so he hugged his clothes and crawled away. At this time, Yi Jingqing went forward and grabbed Mu Tongxue's wrist. "Did you do it on purpose? Must you stab me in the heart with a dull knife?" "I don't know anything. I was delirious just now. I became like this after drinking that glass of warm water." Mu Tongxue tried her best to explain. "I'm telling the truth." Yi Jingqing's eyes were red. He turned to look at the glass of warm water on the dresser. "I'll ask someone to come in and clean it up for you. No matter what, we have to get engaged first." Yi Jingqing didn't have time to think about her. He walked out of the lounge and asked the makeup artist and the others to go in again. Not only that, he walked to the lawn with a murderous look and dragged Mama Yi to a secret place. "Mother, I want to ask you a question. You must answer me truthfully." "What now?" "Did you drug Mu Tongxue?" Yi Jingqing questioned Mama Yi fiercely. Mama Yi's face flashed with unnaturalness. Although she denied it, she couldn't hide it from Yi Jingqing. "You can't wait to put a green hat on your son's head, can't you? Are you crazy?" Mama Yi was stunned by his shout. She slapped him. "I don't agree to let that bitch in. I don't agree to it. Do you understand?" Unexpectedly, Yi Jingqing went crazy and pinched Mama Yi's neck. "Whether you agree or not, she is my woman. No one can change that. Let go. Let go. Murder." "Murder?" Yi Jingqing let go of her. At the same time, Mama Yi was very disappointed. So, the first thing she did after she stood still was to complain to her husband. When Papa Yi saw the strangulation mark on his wife's neck, he immediately walked up to the stage and shouted angrily, "Today's engagement ceremony is cancelled. The Yi family will never marry such a daughter-in-law." The guests looked at each other. Although they guessed that Mr. and Mrs. Yi would be unhappy, they didn't expect Papa Yi to be so direct. "Father, it's my engagement ceremony today. You can't cancel it just because you say so. We won't stop you if you insist on getting engaged." "But Yi Jingqing, let me tell you, I Yi Fengtao don't have a son like you anymore. I want to cut off our relationship as father and son." Yi Jingqing raised his chin. He was not afraid at all. This completely infuriated Mama Yi. "Shameless thing. I'll pretend that I've never given birth to an unfilial son like you. You can live with that bitch till your hair turns white. After that, Mr. and Mrs. Yi wanted to leave the engagement ceremony. This caused everyone to be unable to understand. Wasn't the Yi clan's actions a little too unsightly? However, at this moment, Mu Tangxue came out of the room in a wrinkled white dress. She looked disheveled. Her makeup was all ruined. Her neck and arms were covered with marks. It was too much to imagine. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.